we've got 40 degrees of sunshine today as the Minnesota Twins wrap up this three-game series with the Houston Astros. Quick road trip, just a one-city stop. The Astros are still 9-3. A win today would give them their best franchise mark after 13 games. The Twins coming in at 5-4, tied for first in the American League Central. Hi, everybody. Welcome. Todd Callis alongside Jeff Blum. A loss last night, but a quick turnaround and a chance, Blummer, to win the series despite not really seeing a lot of offense.
Yeah, we're not seeing some of the best baseball played by the Houston Astros, namely on the offensive side, but they do have a chance. They just go out there and try and win series. An opportunity today to walk away with a win the series, get on that happy flight.
If they can score some runs, hopefully Lance McCullers Jr. can keep the other side from getting too many on the board.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting for Lance McCullers going out there. We know he is heavy on the curveball, and he's actually been heavier on the curveball here in 2018, throwing it well over 50% of the time. And he has good snap in a controlled environment like Minute Maid Park where he has great numbers. Now he's on the road, young pitcher trying to deal with the cold weather. Yes, the sun is out, it's a little bit warmer, but still a nice chill in the air. Sometimes makes it tough to grip that baseball. He'll be getting on that seam with that index finger, trying to yank down that curveball to be highly effective against these Twins hitters.
So McCullers will be on the mound tonight for the Astros, or this afternoon. His opponent will be Kyle Gibson. He's been around for the last 5 seasons with Minnesota as he brings a 1-0 mark and a sub-1 ERA into this start. Lance McCullers getting the start today for the Astros. Astros looking for 2 out of 3 before returning home after the off day for the Lone Star Series against the Texas Rangers. More on Lance right around the corner. By Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. And by Shoppers John Deere, your local John Deere dealer with 8 area locations. Coming up, Julian Morales will join us to talk about George Springer. Last time people were concerned about his hitting, he went out and won World Series MVP. More on that in a moment.
between the Astros and the Twins. Hopefully those bats will warm up as well. Astros offense looking a little bleak in the first 2 games of this series. Hope to come out strong today with George Springer at the top, who hit that leadoff home run to start the 2018 season. Since then, we haven't seen much from George, and we've seen a lot from him in 2017, having a huge regular season, but the numbers are not there just yet, just hitting 188. However, we've seen George struggle before in his career and then come out and do some pretty humongous things. He's our TXU power player, for example, struggling a bit early in the playoffs in 2017, and then comes out and just wins the World Series MVP, going yard 5 times in that series. People questioning, should he be bumped down in the lineup from that leadoff spot that he had become so comfortable in? The answer was no from AJ Hinch, and thank goodness, because without George Springer, the Astros may not be able to get it done winning their first World Series championship. Here are the numbers to break it down from that postseason, where in the DS and the CS, hitting 270, but just 1 home run, just driving in a couple in those 11 games, and then exploded in the Fall Classic. It was pretty fun to see, but it really just takes one swing for George to get right and get going. And TK Blummer, hopefully that starts right here.
That'd be great to see from George Springer, especially out of that leadoff spot for AJ Hinch. 34 home runs last season in that leadoff spot. He's a dynamic talent, and he definitely leads the way for the Astros.
Missed an opportunity. Should have asked AJ in the pregame scrum if George should continue to lead off.
That's how you get him going.
That's how it starts. Hey, here's today's Astros starting lineup presented by Southwest. Both Springer and Bregman off to slow starts, 188 and 186 respectively. Jose Altuve bats in the 3 spot. Carlos Correa hits cleanup. No Marwin Gonzalez today. He's 0 for 10 in his career against Kyle Gibson. Josh Reddick bats 5th and plays right field. Evan Gattis DHs. Max Stassi behind the plate. J.D. Davis at first, and Derek Fisher bats tonight in left field.
Kyle Gibson on the mound for the Minnesota Twins. 2 starts this season, 1-0. He's pitched in 10 1/3 innings. He's got 6 walks, 9 punch-outs, so a guy who will walk some hitters, averaging 3 in those first 2 games. The Astros have done a good job of laying off some pitches, but it will be paramount that when they do get those base runners, they get that big hit to drive in some runs. 24 home runs allowed last year by Kyle Gibson. Last year was a rough year, but he's off to a great start with that .87 ERA. Fastball, you're going to see about 62% of the time. He will go straight to that changeup against some of these left-handed hitters. Also has a curveball and a slider.
So we'll see how the Astros fared today after scoring 40 runs in a 3-game series last May. Here at Target Field, the Astros have scored just 3 runs in this series, but still a chance to win yet another series this year. The Astros are 3-0 so far, opening up with 3 out of 4 against Texas, a sweep against the Orioles, and then 2 out of 3 against San Diego. Now trying to get 2 out of 3 against the Minnesota Twins. Astros, as you can see, wearing the afternoon orange tops with the gray pants. First game on Monday, it was 35 degrees for the first pitch. Last night it was 39 degrees. And today we're up to 44, Blummer.
Big day. Heading in the right direction. At least the sun's out, too. That's the first time I think we've seen it since we've been here in Minnesota.
And a bigger crowd than we've seen for the night games, especially up in the upper deck. And that's where George Springer hit one last year. George hit a ball that just kept going and going up into the upper deck in left center field. Gibson behind 3-1.
Guess what? A hitter's count for the Houston Astros. Seen a lot of those this series. They have been unable to capitalize on them.
Three and 2 the count. Gibson has had good success in his career against the Astros. 3-1 in a 2.76 in 5 starts. Inside, ball 4. Springer draws a walk. Last night, Jake Odorizzi walked 5 in his first 3 innings. Starting defense presented by Xfinity. Eddie Rosario starts in left field. Byron Buxton is the best outfielder in the game. Max Kepler is in right. Left side of the infield is Eduardo Escobar and A-Ray Adrianza. Right side is Brian Dozier and Logan Morrison. Joe Bowers at DH today, and Jason Castro behind the plate for the second game of this 3-game series. His second game. This is the final game of the series between the Twins and the Astros as Alex Bregman takes a pitch up and in for ball 1. Hitting can be contagious, and when you struggle, that can be contagious too.
It really feels that way because each guy pressing to be the guy that unlocks the offense. They've still done a very good job of getting on base. It's just once they get on base, it seems to get a little stagnant, missing that big hit. Coming into this series, they are 21 for 98 with runners in scoring position. That's one of the glaring marks on my notepad, that and the amount of punch outs. They were so good at clutch hitting last season.
There's a ball in the left center field for a base hit. Springer's going to take the turn, and he will get to third. Astros with runners on the corners to start this one.
Alexander. Hanging breaking ball right in the middle part of the plate. You can see it on the MD Anderson strike zone. Teed up nicely, does a good job of staying through it. Hitting it just to the right of Byron Buxton, allowing George Springer to go first to third. Gaining that 90 feet, a good start early on here in this heat wave.
The bats are warming up along with the temperatures. And here's Jose Altuve. Altuve admittedly, after the game, not real thrilled when he has to go to the plate and the temperatures are in the 30s. Jose's still able to find a way to get 2 hits. Here's one right out in front of the plate. The pitcher Gibson makes the play. That was kind of a half swing by Altuve. He's thrown out. Bregman goes to second.
Normally you don't see the indecision by Altuve. He's ready to hack. Move the runner.
Yeah, moved one of them. Not exactly what Altuve was expecting in his first swing. Is this a swing?
Yeah, we saw 2 bunt attempts from Altuve yesterday. That is basically a swinging bunt on our Mattress Room Supermo. And if they would have checked down to first base, that wouldn't have been a swing. That's what's amazing.
Check swing. Well, here's Correa. Plummer mentioned the runners in scoring position batting average. Correa does have 9 RBIs on the year. So he's one of the few that have come through in run scoring opportunities. Batting .297 on the year. As you can see, though, that .297 average, though, has not been going in the right direction lately, as he's 2 for his last 18 over his last 5. Infield's back. Ground ball will score Springer. Correa in last night's game in the midst of this 2 for 18 hit into a couple of double plays. He's had a couple of multiple double play games this season. That ball is hit well to center field. Going all the way back is Buxton. This is going to score a run. Tagging at second is Bregman. Springer will score the first run of the game on the sac fly by Carlos Correa. RBI number 10 on the year.
That has got to feel good for the Astros to see a run on the board in that first inning, especially here in Minnesota where they've had success in the past. Not so much in the first 2 games of this series, but already in the first inning, a third of the run total in this series. Good job by Carlos. Again, being able to elevate deep in the outfield to allow that run to come in and Alex Bregman to move up 90 feet. But that is a perfect AB with the runner at third base, less than 2 outs.
Now Josh Reddick will bat. We have not seen a home run in this series. Not sure we've had one that's all that close other than the foul balls off the bats of the Twins on Monday night. Ball just not carrying in this cold weather. Reddick pops one up on the infield. Escobar and Adrianza are there as the third baseman Escobar, who puts it away for the final out. But the Astros score one of the first. Taking the mound today for the Astros is Lance McCullers.
Right-hander Lance McCullers, in 2 starts this season, has a 1-and-run record. He is 0-1 against these Minnesota Twins with a 2.77 ERA in 2 starts. Last start out against San Diego went 5, walked 3, struck out 7. And again, ground ball percentage has gone up for Lance, but the curveball percentage has also gone up over the season.
Here's the lineup he will face this afternoon. Paul Molitor and the Twins line it up this way. Brian Dozier leading things off as he has the first 2 games. Same 2 at the top. Joe Mauer in the DH role. Eddie Rosario, Logan Morrison, Eduardo Escobar, Max Kepler, Byron Buxton, Jason Castro, and A-Ray Adrianza. A lot of lefties and switch hitters in the lineup today. Only 2 right-handed hitters. Dozier in the 1 spot and Buxton in the 7 spot. One and 1 the count. That's making his 3rd start of the year. Hoping to go more than 5 1/3 innings. That's been his longest outing thus far. Line drive, short hop by Altuve. Beautiful play by the Astros second baseman as he saves a hit off the bat of Brian Dozier.
Some wizardry right there with the glove. Almost Karate Kid-esque with a little wax on, wax off. Does a good job of holding his ground. And then just a great job of eye-hand coordination to be able to read that late hop and snag it with the glove and come up firing.
Put himself in perfect position to throw after that spin.
That was beautiful.
He does it all. MVP. Here's Joe Mauer. Mauer taking a pitch for a ball, 1-0. Well, Lance has felt like he is pitching some bad luck. So to have that start the game, maybe that'll be good karma for him today. A lot of times that would have been a base hit. 1-1 the count.
So you're trying to tell me the shift paid off?
It did.
Bullet up the middle off Dozier's bat, but Astros have a guy standing there.
And made a great play. Mauer coming into the game batting a healthy .407. Lance wants to go through the signs again with Max Stassi behind the plate. Away, it's 2-1. By far the nicest day of the three, which is probably good news for Lance because of the three pitchers. Lance relies more on the grip on that breaking ball than the others. The others rely a little bit more on other stuff, but for Lance to spin that curveball, you don't want him pitching in 35 degrees in a night game.
Yeah, it's no fun trying to spin an ice cube up there. Unless you're doctoring.
A little soft serve base hit into left field. Mauer going the other way. That's where the Astros play him, but he still finds some open space. And he's a one-out base runner. Come out to Minute Maid Park this Friday, April 13th, to see the best fireworks show in town, presented by Occidental Petroleum. This week's fireworks will be synced to country theme music. Visit astros.com/Friday nights for tickets. Rangers in town over the weekend. Should be good crowds all weekend long. Here's Eddie Rosario. Rosario did not start in last night's game against the lefty Dallas Keuchel. Came on defensively, hitting .200 in the early part of the season. Pitch misses outside. It's 2-0.
And the last thing you want to see Lance do with his curveball is feel for it. You want him just to flat out throw it. It's most effective when he's down in the zone, breaking it down and in with left-handed hitters between that 86 to almost 90 miles an hour as far as velocity.
Way inside now, 3-0.
Well, and that was the thing. That one jumped away in the first pitch and then overcompensated on that second one.
Logan Morrison on deck. Four-pitch walk to Eddie Rosario. Thankfully, that Altuve play has kept this from being an early bases loaded situation for Lance McCullers. Had a great play by Altuve. Mauer followed with a hit, and now a four-pitch walk to Rosario. Lance pretty animated with Max Stassi out on the mound about how he wants to attack this next hitter.
First two starts this season for Lance. 57% of the time he is throwing that curveball, 37 on the fastball, 6% on the changeup. That last start out against San Diego, we did not see one changeup in the mix. It was all fastball, all curveball. 58.2% of the time it was curveball. The other 42% was that fastball.
Race to the bag after the catch by J.D. Davis, and Rosario gets back. Davis. Yeah, what a bullet that was off the bat of Morrison, but right at the Astros first baseman.
110.6 miles an hour off the bat of Logan Morrison. You talk about hitting into some tough luck. He's having a rough start to the season. And here, just put it in a bad spot. Pretty athletic move by J.D. Davis.
That knocked him back a little bit. It was hit so hard.
Yeah, that was coming in a little hot.
So here's Eduardo Escobar. He takes a strike. That's how the game of baseball can go. Dallas Keuchel yesterday gives up that little tapper down the third baseline that got the rally started for the Twins in the first inning. It didn't give up a lot of hard contact, but 2 innings in and given up 3 runs. Today, Lance's 2 outs. One was a great play by Altuve in the shift, and the other was 110 miles an hour off Logan Morrison's bat.
First 2 starts of the season, 83% of the balls put in play off Lance have been medium to hard contact. Almost an even 40-40 split.
It's a high percentage on both ends.
It's an extremely high percentage. And it kind of tells you that when Lance is on, he's nasty. When he's not, he's making mistakes out over the middle of the plate.
Pitch down low, it's 3-1. Alfonso Marquez, the home plate umpire today, crew chief. Looks like a couple of those pitches could have been strikes. That one's outside, ball 4, and the bases are loaded. Single and a couple of walks. And Max Kepler will be the batter. We talked about the percentage of curveballs so far this year. That's as high as it's ever been for Lance. Nobody's ever thrown the curveball at a higher rate than Lance since they started tracking pitch data in 2007. This year it's even higher than it's been in his career by a good margin. See how he attacks Kepler here. Lance has faced a lot of these Twins before. Kepler not one of them. And he starts him off with that power curve at 90 miles an hour that he swings over. It's 0-1. Working out of the windup with the bases loaded. Bounces that one. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. Astros coming into this game with a record of 9-3. They have been tied by the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim with that same mark. The Angels have won 3 in a row. Twins coming in at 5-4, just percentage points ahead of Cleveland in the Central. On the ground, Correa has to backhand and make a long throw in time on 1 hop. Lance had some defensive help behind him in the first, and the Astros lead 1-0 after 1.
This is a great play made easy by a very large shortstop with a cannon for an arm. The quick release and the out to save Lance McCullers in the first.
From the pennant reveal to the championship rings, we recap a historic week at Minute Maid Park. You'll get the story behind the rings and hear from Carlos Beltran. All that and more on Astros Bases Loaded Fridays before pregame and re-airing all week long, only on AT&T Sportsnet. TK.
All right, Julia, on we go to the second inning. Astros dodged a bullet or two in that first inning and end up with a 1-0 lead with Evan Gattis leading off. It'll be Gattis, Max Stassi, and J.D. Davis facing Kyle Gibson, and Gibson gets a called strike. Gattis getting the start today as the DH. Jose Altuve was the DH last night, and George Springer was the DH in Monday's game. So Evan getting his first chance to start in this series. Pitch bounces up there. It's 1-1. For A.J. Hinch, I think it was more of getting some of his guys a day off in the cold weather from the field. Springer on Monday and Altuve yesterday.
that's a good way to endear yourself to your players, is recognizing the uncomfortable circumstances here in Minnesota and give those guys some time off their feet and out of that cold.
One pitch is sent in the air to right field. Kepler is back on it and makes the play.
No player does more, presented by HEB. Maxwell, Stassi, 733 slugging percentage. That's not an OPS. The OPS is just to the right at over 1,000. Doing a great job, getting some hanging off-speed pitches while he's in there, some opportunities. And I know that bat, swinging it as well as he is giving him a couple more opportunities out there behind the plate for the Houston Astros and in that lineup.
Came up with the big 3-run home run with Charlie Morton pitching in that finale to the Padres series on Sunday. Astros winning that game 4-1. Stassi takes one at the knees for a called strike. It's 0-2. Stassi with 15 at-bats this year, coming in 6 for 15, hitting .400. His career high in at-bats was last season at 24.
I think there's a series worth of frustration coming out on Alfonso Marquez early in this game with that strike zone.
A couple close ones Lance didn't get in that first inning. Oh, Justin Verlander wasn't excited about the strike zone in his start. And both sides really seemed to get squeezed a little bit last night with Mike Estabrook behind the plate. 1-2 pitch, swing and a miss. Stassi goes down swinging. 5 in a row retired by Kyle Gibson after the first 2 batters reach base. I'll bring up J.D. Davis. J.D. starting every game in this series. Minnesota starting 3 righties, but J.D.'s been in there. After starting out the years with a 1 for 16, J.D. 3 for his last 5, as Gibson misses inside, ball 1. Next 2 guys to bat for the Astros know the story of Yuli Gurriel. Yuli has done his rehab assignment after injuring that hamate bone early in the spring. Yuli's ready to come back. We'll see him on Friday in that Ranger series, so a roster move will have to be made. J.D. Davis or Derek Fisher. More than likely it would be J.D., but you never know. Those guys getting a chance to earn their way onto the opening day roster. And initially they thought they might be having to make a decision after 5 games, but Yuli needed a little more time. So got the first couple of big league weeks in the show, and one of them will have to be heading to Fresno for a little while, but I'm sure we'll see whoever goes back in the not too distant future.
Unless Yuli looks at the forecast in Seattle and Chicago and says, no, I don't want any part of that either.
Wait, he was hurt. This ground ball. So you're saying that hamate bone all of a sudden feels better when it gets warmer?
No, it's going to be cold in Seattle and Chicago. He's looking at the...
Now they're past Minnesota, hamate bone's good?
No, have you seen the forecast? It's terrible. Julia almost wore this one.
Where? Ooh. Good move.
Getting out of the way. Souvenir. Autograph it and chuck it in the stands.
It's for my birthday. Oh, it's good and dirty, too.
Did you just say something out loud?
What?
Line drive into left center field for a base hit. JD's now 4 for his last 6.
Making a push.
She said it was for her birthday. I thought her birthday was tomorrow.
I thought we weren't even supposed to bring that up.
Oh, sorry.
We got cut off, yet it's okay for you.
Yeah, it's my birthday.
When's your birthday?
It's tomorrow. It's my
Get ready
early
for that
birthday present.
Yeah, get ready for that Twitter feed to blow up. Happy birthday, Julia,
Happy
tomorrow.
early birthday that we weren't supposed to mention.
Yep, we didn't do it.
I I know. It's my bad. Sorry. I jumped the gun. I got excited. My adrenaline's running from being chased by a ball.
It was nice the Astros gave you an off day for your birthday.
Yeah. Talked to the commissioner about that last year.
Here's Derek. Set it up for you. Derek Fisher, the batter. Good to see JD swinging the bat well. That's 4 for 6 now.
Yes. You would hate for him or whoever it is to be sent out after struggling. At least when you have the visit in the office, they can say, hey, you did a great job, turn things around, swinging the bat well. This is just a roster move we have to make. We'll see you again type thing.
And I'm sure it's not accidental that getting these reps makes him feel a little bit better at the plate.
Yeah.
Because he was getting a start, then he would sit 2 or 3 days, and he'd get another start. Now a chance to play every game in this series. Derek Fisher, the batter, with a 1-1 count. Two and one. Similar to Jake Odorizzi, Kyle Gibson started out this year with a great outing against the Orioles at Oriole Park in Camden Yards. Went 6 shutout innings. Not only were they shutout innings, they were no-hit innings, but he walked 5. Didn't allow a run. That was part of the stretch where the Orioles didn't have a run scored against the starting pitcher until the 5th game of the year. 3-1 the count to Derek Fisher after 2 quick outs. Base hit by J.D. Davis, and now Kyle Gibson back behind 3-1. Fouled the other way. It's good to see the ski masks have been packed away.
Yeah, no more ninja masks. Time to play some baseball.
0 wind today. Sun is shining as opposed to the night games. The temperature will rise as we go along as opposed to dip in the mercury.
Yeah, they're going to keep those trunks packed with the ski masks and beanies and stuff like that for the next trip, that's for sure.
A couple of guys have them around their necks, but nobody is actually wearing the hood. 3-2 pitch misses. Gibson was walking off the mound like he thought the inning was over. So maybe both sides struggling a little bit early with the strike zone.
On the edge, but according to MD Anderson, strike zone still a strike. Benefits the Astros. Maybe some of that hollering at Alfonso Marquez worked out a little bit. Turn this lineup over and get these guys going.
Here is George Springer. Springer walked and scored a run. Part of what got George going in the World Series after he struggled in Game 1 and didn't have a whole lot of runs driven in the first 2 series in the postseason was he wasn't afraid to take a walk. Drew some big walks in that World Series in addition to all the accomplishments at the plate with the stick. And now it's 2-0.
Things have tightened up a little bit for Kyle Gibson and Jason Castro. Not getting those calls on the edges.
36 pitches in, Gibson has thrown the same number of strikes as balls, and George now with 2 on and a great hitter's count. That's the pitcher's corner, right at the knees on the outside part of the plate. Perfect pitch. It's 2-1. J.D. Davis on second, Derek Fisher on first. Astros leading 1-0 on a Carlos Correa sacrifice fly. 3-1. Outside ball 4, back-to-back walks issued by Kyle Gibson. 3 walks in the game. And the Astros have loaded up the bases. All this coming with 2 outs, and we'll get a visit to the mound. Pitching coach Garvin Alston comes out to talk with his starter Kyle Gibson. Well, Alex Bregman doesn't have a home run yet this year. Last year his first home run was a grand slam. Bats here with the bases loaded.
Sets up nicely. Base hit in his first AB on a hanging breaking ball. Maybe get a hanging fastball here and turn on one. He's got pretty good pop here at Target Field.
He hit a homer in every game here last year. That's a strike. Gibson now is going to be over 40 pitches through 2 innings.
Kyle Gibson has not given up an extra base hit this season.
Bregman sees a couple of guys get walked, and then Gibson just paints a couple of nasty pitches on him. It's 0-2. So far, it's a good visit by Alston.
Well, if you're following along on the MLB At Bat app, or if you're checking out our MD Anderson Strike Zone, you can see that the first 2 pitches aren't close.
Usually,
gutsy take right there.
Usually when a guy's struggling, he does not get the zone expanded for him.
There were better pitches in the walk ABs than the first 2 to Alex here.
Technically, he hasn't seen a strike yet, but he's down 1-2 in the count. And swings through that pitch. Oh, Bregman goes down. 3 left on. We head to the bottom half of the 2nd inning. Lance McCullers Jr. back to the mound. Loaded in the bottom of the 1st, and the Astros left the bases loaded in the bottom half of the 2nd. As Lance will face 7, 8, 9 in the Twins lineup. Byron Buxton fouling went out of play. Buxton coming in, batting .171 on the young season. A couple of stolen bases. 1 for 8 in this series. Astros shift Buxton with 3 on the left side of the infield, and he grounds one that way past Alex Bregman down the line, and with Buxton's speed, that'll easily be a double as he rolls into second with a ground ball double to start the second inning.
Two-seam fastball running back into the hands of Byron Buxton. Yanks it just past a drawn in Alex Bregman, and that's the hard part. As a third baseman, you're playing in to defend against the bunt. That allows a simple two-hopper like you just saw right there get past you because you're playing in so far, and it's tough to react as quickly to make the play. Cuts down on that range and ability to react.
Couple guys that know each other pretty well. Lance McCullers facing Jason Castro. Castro started Monday's game. Did not start last night. Now back in the lineup today. Lance with a 2-0 count. There's that curveball for a strike. It's 2-1. Castro will try and pull something here with nobody out. Had a runner on second. Trying to get Buxton over to third base. Bounces away on the breaking ball. Lance picked up a swing and a miss, but in the process, Buxton, oh, they're going to say it's a foul ball. Alfonso Marquez says that Castro got a piece of that one. That's going to send Buxton back to second base, and that'll draw Paul Molitor out of the dugout.
How do you foul tip a ball you missed by 3 feet? I'll take it. It's good. Move that runner back to second base. All right.
No chance that was a foul.
No. I'm not sure what's happening.
The only other thing I can think of, because it obviously wasn't a foul ball, did he interfere with Stassi? Did he hit him on the backswing, possibly?
Sure.
That's what we're going. 2-2 the count. Astros seemingly catching a break. Another one in the dirt. Buxton tries to advance, and he will be safe. Stassi blocked it, but Buxton with his speed took advantage as soon as he saw that one get away.
He can be a little more aggressive because of that speed that he does have. Puts a lot of pressure on defenses, and it was also a pretty easy early read on that breaking ball down. Stassi does the best he can.
So we know the percentages. Castro knows the percentages. Lefty hitters, 3-2 count. Lance needing a strikeout. Always seems to throw the curve. There it is. And Castro still took it for a called third strike.
Our Best in Texas Power Pitch is presented by Ford with Lance McCullers on the mound. And what TK was talking about is that breaking ball. It is a highly effective pitch. He finished off Game 7 of the ALCS with 24 of them, yet he will go to them quite often. A lot of times during the course of the season, we will see Lance throw a ton of curveballs, especially this season, up 10% from last year. But it also has a lot to do with the opponent, too. The first 2 opponents he's had have been the Texas Rangers, San Diego Padres, you see right there, who have a tough time hitting spin.
Here's A-Ray Adrianza, and the Astros are going to draw the infield in tight with a runner on third base and 1 out. Even with the infield in with Buxton's speed, infielders are going to have to be quick to home plate.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough decision. They're going to want that baseball hit hard at him, too, so that they can make that play.
Just missed 2-0. This year, the percentages by far 16 percentage points higher than the next closest pitcher.
Jumps even more with 2 strikes, and like you said, with that Jason Castro at bat against left-handed hitters in 3-2 counts, you start to narrow these things down and the percentages start to jump. Yet he's still effective enough with it to get the punch outs, even though it seems that they know it's coming.
Well, that's what was surprising to me about Castro, and just trying to move the baseball there in a 3-2 count. He's caught Lance McCullers more than any other catcher in Lance's career. You almost have to look for a curveball in that situation.
I gotta be honest, if I'm facing Lance McCullers, I am sitting breaking ball until he shows me he's gonna come after me and change it up with the fastball.
There you go. Sometimes you can sit on curveball and still get a nasty one like that and not be able to do anything with it. 2-2 the count.
It's that good. And out of his hand, I was talking to Bert Blyleven, who had a phenomenal curveball in his career, about Lance's curveball, and he almost calls it a slider because he throws it so hard. It doesn't have that traditional jump out of the top of the hand like a Colin McHugh or a Will Harris, where that traditional 12-6 has a tendency to go up and then break down. So it looks like a fastball longer than it looks like a breaking ball.
Yeah, Bert had one of the nastiest curveballs you'll ever see, but his was a little more traditional, like you said, the over-the-top 12-6er. There's Bert Blyleven. Does a great job in the.
Do I do this?
Circle, Bert.
Oh, Telestrator ain't working.
What?
Dang it.
You circle. That was your best circle of the season.
That was perfectly symmetrical all the way around.
Only I will realize that. 2-2 pitch is found into the upper deck, and it bounces back into the lower deck. And it's going with a 95-mile-an-hour fastball there at 2-2.
I'm back.
Yes,
just
another
as good.
good circle.
There we are.
One of the rare chances that Bert gets circled. Does that to all the fans on the telecast. 2-2 pitch, swing and a miss. He got him on the breaking ball. The Snapdragon curve gets the big strikeout there. That's 2 away.
Much like Dallas Keuchel, when he gets runners on, he's always a ground ball away from getting that double play and getting out of there. But without that opportunity for Lance McCullers in second and third or runner on third situations, he has a great ability to go out there and create swing and miss to get the punch out to hopefully get him out of some damage.
Well, a runner on third and nobody out, and now a runner still at third and 2 outs. A curveball for a called third strike to Castro and a swinging third strike to A-Ray Adrianza. Now Brian Dozier, the batter. He's around the bunt, bunts it foul. That's showing some respect to McCullers, looking for a 2-out RBI. Figured one of his best chances for that was to bunt.
Might be a lot of respect for this series, too. Not a lot of runs being scored on some clutch hits. So you kind of have to create opportunities to score runs. That's one way to do it, because Bregman's playing deep.
Dozier was retired on a great play by Jose Altuve his first time up. Altuve this time, as you can just see, is on the first base side of the bag. Last time he was on the shortstop side of the bag. 0-1 pitches away. It's 1-1. Lance has thrown 36 pitches, 18 for strikes, 18 out of the zone. Fastball at 96, but he missed wide. It's 2-1.
That fastball command eludes him. He'll go right back to that breaking ball, too.
2-2, went right back to it on the inside corner.
Have I told you how much better I am at this game sitting up here than I was on the field?
Well, he could throw 2 more of them to Dozier, even in a 3-2 count.
Yeah, absolutely. Why not? Well, he did a good job. That was a little more of the front door on the inside. He'll probably try and go away and bury one.
He does. Strike 3.
How about it?
McCullers strikes out the side after the opening double by Byron Buxton and leaves a runner on third base. Minneapolis. Jose Altuve will lead things off. Our league leaders are presented by Houston Methodist. Nobody, Blummer, nobody in the history of the stadium with 50 at-bats or more has a higher batting average than Altuve.
We could go through a lot of stadiums and see that number. Altuve likes hitting on the road. We've talked about it a lot, but right here at Target Field, I think a lot of it has to do with that batting eye out in center field. It's one of the few ballparks, like Safeco Field also has it, where the backdrop is just pitch black and it's wide. It's a great look at it. Really?
I'm so bad at this year. I'm just enjoying your commentary.
I appreciate you.
0-1 the count to Altuve. He sends one high in the air, shallow center. Buxton will drift in. And he'll put it away. Sunglasses today, with a little bit of the sun peeking out earlier. And Altuve retired for the first out. On that list, Cespedes was second, and you like to talk about revenge ABs. David Ortiz was third.
Yep. David Ortiz. It's amazing how he played at the Metrodome for so long. That short porch with the baggie in right field was okay. Good hitter. Leaves, and all of a sudden turns into an oppo hitter and just destroys everything. Turned into a Hall of Fame type DH.
Carlos Correa takes a pitch outside for a ball. It's 1-0. And one of the great regrets in Twins history, Big Papi could have had quite a career in Minnesota, but turned it around with the Red Sox. Now Correa with a 1-1 count. Carlos hit a deep fly ball his first time up for a sacrifice fly. Called strike. It's 1-2. Kyle Gibson allowing 2 hits in the first couple of innings. He also walked 3. Astros leaving the bases loaded last inning. Up high, it's 2-2. Correa with that sac fly now has 10 RBIs on the season. He's the first Astro to get to 10 runs batted in. Second right now in the American League to Hanley Ramirez with 11. Slicing, fair ball down the right field line. Correa takes the turn, and he will hold up as Kepler did a good job getting over to the line. Carlos Correa has himself a 1-out base hit.
I've seen the Astros expand the zone here recently for some of those punch outs. This is expanding the zone and going out and get you a hit.
Wow.
Well, excuse me, going the other way. Hits are hits. I don't care who you are or how you get them. Hits are hits. That was well off the plate.
That was Altuve-like. Here's Josh Reddick. Reddick takes a pitch for a ball. It's 1-0. Kind of mystified. I like that shot above home plate, and I don't know how they're getting it. Like, I'm looking around.
It's from my camera phone.
You have a drone?
You never know. I have a tendency to multitask.
It's a good look.
Got in touch with Trevor Bauer, hooked me up.
He builds those. 2-0 the count. At least he used to. Not sure if they still allow him.
Yeah, I would imagine there's a certain time period that he's allowed to and a certain time period that he's not.
I have no idea where that camera is.
It's on the bottom of the moon.
2-0 pitch is a called strike. It's 2-1.
That is pretty impressive. It looks like it's right on top of home plate.
And there's nothing on the screen. So that's why I'm not going to start thinking about it, because then I'll stop watching the game. 2-1.
If you vacate and start climbing up the top of the building here. Spy cam.
Ground ball. Gloved nicely by Morrison to second for 1. The return throw in time with Gibson covering for the double play. Reddick slams the helmet down in frustration, and we're through 2.5 in a 1-0 lead. out there for his third inning of work. And a couple of analytic terms to try and introduce to the crowd.
Yeah, BABIP is one you'll hear for both pitchers and hitters, and it's batting average on baseballs put in play by the hitter. It does not include strikeouts, walks, sac flies, or home runs. So anything put in play, there will be a number put to it, and usually that average is 300 or better over the year across major leagues. There's another one, XFIP or FIP. It is the expected fielding independent pitching. So this takes defense out of it completely and puts it all on the pitcher. It includes strikeouts, walks, hit by pitches, and fly balls allowed. The X signifies the fact that it's weighted for all ballparks. So it kind of evens the playing field for everybody and takes the ballpark out of it also.
Generally, the FIP should be pretty close to the ERA.
Yes.
Pitchers that have a higher FIP than their ERA are a lot of times pitching in good luck, and the reverse the same. Garrett Cole, for example, has had a lower FIP than his ERA in 4 of his 5 seasons. So he has not necessarily pitched in good luck. This year, Lance has some interesting early numbers in BABIP and FIP as he faces Joe Mauer with a 1-1 count. Mauer singled to left his first time up. Astros play Joe Mauer like he is a dead pull right-handed hitter.
Yeah, that outfield shifted well around.
Tried to hold up. He goes around, says the third base umpire Mike Estabrook. And it's 1-2.
That was a good call. Doubled up on that changeup to Joe Mauer. Didn't get the swing and miss. Got it here. Well out in front of home plate. Barrel getting out in front of the hands.
Swing and a miss. Lance gets him for his 4th consecutive strikeout. 1 out in the 3rd.
That will help his FIP. That lower left, you see the XFIP at 1.28, pretty good number, but the BABIP is the issue. We talked about the hard hit baseballs against Lance McCullers. When he makes mistakes up in the zone, it has a tendency to have a high exit velocity, and the BABIP, when that ball is put in play, well over 400.
And the BABIP will never stay that high for a whole year. It's just a sign that early on a lot has been falling in against Lance.
Yep.
Here's Eddie Rosario. Takes a called strike. Rosario walked his first time up. Lance allowing 2 walks in the first inning, but he left the bases loaded. Today, Joe Mauer getting a little soft serve single into left field, and then Byron Buxton, grounder, just found the right spot down the line.
Yeah, Buxton's is interesting. Under 90 miles an hour off the bat, and the hit probability was 8%, but at the same time, it was because Alex Bregman was playing in. Even if he's playing back, it's still going to be a tough play on a backhand trying to throw a guy like Buxton out.
It's never easy to get a ball through the infield when they are shifted on that side, and there were 3 on the left side, but he placed it perfectly down the line. Julia, is Lance aware of these numbers?
Yes, he is actually. You know, and found his numbers pretty quickly after that last start against the Padres, where he gave up those 7 hits over 5, and came out and said that he felt pretty good about the way he was throwing the ball, and that was why. It was because he went back in, not only watching a little bit of video, seeing balls or strikes and all that, but he also checked all those numbers, including XFIP. So when he came out and spoke to the media, he knew that number, and that's why he said he felt good. And that's where he tried to explain it to me in the fact that, you know, you see the ERA, you see those numbers, but how do you feel? I mean, do you need to make a mechanical adjustment? And so that's where all these numbers can help these guys to really break it down and take it to the next level, and to really tell them the story. So it's not a time to be tweaking if everything is right mechanically. For him, sometimes luck's involved.
And that's a big deal for pitchers, what Julia is talking about. And even hitters too. You can say, man, I hit the ball on the screws 4 times. I've got nothing to show for it. I went 1 for 4, but I had high exit velocity. And then you go back and look at the numbers, and sure enough, you're hitting the ball hard. It's on the barrel, 100 miles an hour off the bat. I just hit it right at guys. In the same token, Lance McCullers said, hey, I felt good. I felt like I had a good breaking ball today. It didn't get much to show for it. Guys scoring and things like that, and he can look to a certain number and say, yeah, you know what, this proves out that I actually did pitch as well as I felt. This is a highly negative game as far as success rates. So if you can pick on something that will kind of boost that morale and keep that confidence going, find it.
We are, I feel like, on the analytics side about, if you try and compare us to other broadcasts, we tend to stray towards the analytics side. I think at some point people are going to recognize that FIP number may be as important, if not more important, than the ERA number. It's still, ERA is still the big driver that everybody knows, but I think FIP is gaining in popularity.
I agree. Because you're trying to find the true value. Because, how long did it take to get off the wins and losses?
Right.
Those are kind of going by the wayside as far as arbitration cases and things like that. So they're digging a little bit deeper and getting on the peripherals. But if you truly want to break down, and they found a way to just put the number on the pitcher and his performance, and FIP seems to be that one that jumps out.
4-pitch walk to Logan Morrison. 2 of Lance's 3 walks today have been 4-pitch walks. He's a little frustrated with himself. Snaps the throw back from Max Stassi.
Because he realizes it's going to affect his xFIP.
That's why. Three walks allowed by Lance, and now he'll face Eduardo Escobar. Escobar walked his first time up. One thing we've noticed, because the previous out by Rosario was a ground ball to J.D. Davis, one thing we've noticed about J.D. playing first, he likes to flip the ball to the pitcher.
Yep.
That was what Yuli did all first half of last year.
Yeah, his motto is make him run.
He's like, we're going to work on this in spring training. I am going to flip it every time. Because he's had a couple chances for those unassisted putouts, and he is always underhand tossing it to his pitcher covering.
Yeah, me got it, you take it.
1-0 pitch is ripped but foul. Escobar out in front of that one. It's 1-1. Astros leading 1-0 in a first inning run on a sacrifice fly by Carlos Correa. Lance near 20 pitches per inning right now as we play in the third. Nice curveball there, catches the outside corner. It's 1-2. And struck out 4 batters in a row: Castro, Adrianza, Dozier, and Mauer. Ground out a walk, and now another strikeout. Gets Escobar chasing the curveball. That is 5 strikeouts, all on that Snapdragon curve. We are through 3 in a 1-0 game.
Pole. Dome coming was just the other night, the 53rd anniversary of the opening of the Astrodome. We asked you, when you remember the Astros at the Dome, who do you envision on the mound? Is it J.R. Richard, Nolan Ryan, Mike Scott, Jose Lima? Can't wait to see the responses on this one. TK?
All right, Julia, on we go to the 4th. Evan Gaddis will lead things off. Had the Dome coming on Monday. Last night, our Twitter Tuesday was about the Astrodome, and filled up our social media feed. That was a busy day on Twitter last night.
Yeah, I had no chance of keeping up on that. It was pretty good.
I didn't see the one until after the game. We had one from an astronaut.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
Was that Doug Wheelock?
Yep. Doug said he was at the Astrodome as a 22-year-old, and then 22 years later took a picture from space of the Astrodome as Gaddis sends one to left field where Rosario makes the play for out number 1. That Dome coming feature will be part of our post-game show today. Mike Acosta is also going to be part of Astros Bases Loaded, which premieres on Friday. $3 parking.
Wow. A lot of fans want to bring that back.
Here's Stassi. A lot of people were reminiscing about the Dome Dogs. Stassi takes a called strike. Stassi struck out his first time up. Gibson has struck out 2. He's walked 3. And allowed 3 base hits. All singles today for the Astros. Plummer mentioned it earlier, and it's still in play. Gibson only allowing singles this year. The 10 hits allowed all have been non-extra base hits, all singles. Strikes out Stassi for the second time. 3 strikeouts of the game.
Catch all the excitement at Minute Maid Park this season with matchups against rivals like the Yankees, Red Sox, Rangers, and Indians. All single game tickets are available at astros.com/tickets, or you can call 1-877-9-ASTROS.
Two outs, nobody on, and J.D. Davis, who after starting the year 1 for 16 is now 4 for his last 6. Takes a pitch down low for ball 1. J.D. singled in the left his last time up. Is that average up to 227 now? One and 1 the count. Gibson is 30 years old. He has been a part of the Twins rotation on opening day every year since 2014. Last year had a couple of trips down to AAA Rochester. Got off to a slow start in his first 6 starts last year. Was 0-4 with an 8.20, and then really pitched better as the season went along. From May 22nd through the end of the year was 12-6 with a 4.44 ERA. Misses down low. Counts 2-2. Speed on his changeup and his slider are about the same. Those both around 84, 85. Likes to throw the slider a lot to right-handers, especially when he gets to 2 strikes.
Tell you what, the speed in between pitches is not as fast.
That looked more like the curveball there, and it's 3-2.
Yeah, but I've noticed in this series, this Minnesota rotation, including guys in the bullpen, they take their sweet time getting the baseball back, getting the sign, and throwing a pitch.
Now he'll probably come back with a 2-seamer. That seems to be what he goes to on a 3-2 count with righties. Tries that slider sometimes. That pitch misses outside, ball 4.
Yanked it.
Oh, J.D. Davis draws the 4th walk of the game for the Astros. Astros have been drawing a lot of walks against starters recently. Odorizzi walked 5 yesterday. Lance Lynn walked 4 in the opening game of this series. 2 starts prior to that, Brian Mitchell walked 6 in the middle game of that Padres series. And today Gibson walking 4 of his own. You'd like to see more of those walks come around to score. Here's Derek Fisher.
Just a matter of time. It will. These guys will warm up, hopefully like the weather. But for the time being, it is exaggerated because it's early. The sample size is a little bit smaller than we're accustomed to seeing. They were off to a slow start last year, too.
Slowly hit towards first. Logan Morrison will take it himself and beat Fisher to the bag for the final out of the inning. So a 2-out walk, 1 man left on base. We head to the bottom of the 4th, still 1-0. Ice cream today at Target Field on this Wednesday afternoon contest.
That is insane. That better be really good ice cream to be eating it on a day like this. Either that or melt it down and drink it.
Whenever you need to wear gloves to eat ice cream, it's too cold.
Yeah. It should be illegal. Isn't there a rule against that?
Max Kepler leads off against Lance McCullers Jr., who will make his 60th pitch of the game to start the 4th. And with that breaking ball, he's at exactly 50% with the curveball today. 30 curveballs and 30 other pitches. He has mixed in the changeup occasionally today.
Threw a couple of good ones to Joe Mauer down in the zone, then blew him away with the fastball up.
Pitch misses. 4 of the 5 strikeouts have been on curveballs. The one to Mauer was that fastball that Blummer mentioned. Now facing Kepler, Buxton, and Castro, 6, 7, and 8 in the Twins lineup. Well, Lance has walked 3 today, and all 2 of those 3 walks have come on 4 pitches. The other time was on a 3-1 count. Hopefully he does not continue the trend here. It's 3-0 on Kepler. Third 4-pitch walk of the game.
Well, he's efficient when he's walking, guys. Not wasting any pitches.
We saw both starters yesterday have trouble with control. Odorizzi walked 5, Keuchel walked 4. Conditions today a little warmer. Lance not even going to sleeves today. Here's Byron Buxton.
Lance is a Tampa guy too. Braving it out there.
Missing with the first 5 pitches this inning. 1-0 to Buxton. A little low, 2-0. Stassi's going to have a little visit here with Lance.
Try and calm him down, get him back in the zone. Play a little bit of psychologist here and give him confidence in the stuff that he has, and go ahead and throw strikes with it and dare him to hit it. It's going to be a tough guy to double up, and Buxton, he flies. The ground ball rate has been interesting to watch over the career of Lance McCullers. 2015, 47% pedestrian. Next year, 2016, jumped to 57%. 61, almost 62% in 2017. Here early on, almost 74% of the time.
Yeah, he's got numbers with the strikeouts per 9 and the ground ball rate that has never been seen before.
Kind of a nice combo if you can get it working.
Another 4-pitch walk. That is his 5th walk of the game, and 4 of them have been 4-pitch walks.
There have been some upside down walk to strikeout ratios in this series. Lance is now even at 5 punch outs and 5 walks. Kyle Gibson at 4 walks, 3 strikeouts.
Mitchell was 6 walks and 1 strikeout.
Huh?
And no runs.
Do you applaud that?
Well, that's what I was mentioning as a foul ball here by Castro when I said that Astros haven't taken advantage of the walk scoring. 6 walks by Mitchell Saturday, none of them scored. 4 walks by Lynn Monday, none of them scored. 5 walks by Odorizzi yesterday, only 1 of them scored. And today, of Gibson's 4 walks, Springer did score. That's still not a good percentage of all those walks. Getting 2 out of 15 home in those starts. 0-1 the count to Jason Castro. Now it's 0-2.
Well, the first 3 innings yesterday for Dallas Keuchel, he walked the leadoff hitter.
Castro has caught McCullers starts 25 times, most ever in Lance's career. Brian McCann second with 19. But after walking the first 2 hitters on 4 pitches, he gets Castro on 3 pitches to strike out. This is a true outcome with no pitches varying from the outcome. 4-pitch walk, 4-pitch walk, 3-pitch strikeout.
And he hasn't thrown a strike yet. What a game.
1 out, 2 runners on. We mentioned the strikeout to ground ball combination for Lance. In the last 30 years, nobody has had a career strikeout mark above 10 per 9 innings and a career ground ball to fly ball ratio above 2.5. Lance, the only one with both of those numbers. Adrianza, the batter. A-Ray struck out his first time up. Lance will take either the strikeout or the ground ball in this inning. That ball is hit on the ground, and it's going to find a hole on the right side for a hit. Around third comes Kepler. He's going to score, and this game's tied at 1.
No shift employed against Adrianza, playing him straight up. He just rolls one over in that hole between second and first for the first run for the Minnesota Twins. Ball put in play that ends up being a hit against Lance McCullers.
That was really the first pitch that was thrown over the plate in the inning. Threw 8 straight out of the zone. Castro chased 3 straight out of the zone. First pitch to Adrianza was a ball, so after 12 pitches missed the zone, Lance's first strike is an RBI single for Adrianza, and we're tied at 1.
And the walk comes back to haunt Lance McCullers.
And Stassi trying to get together on the side. This is the case where you don't want to see many more visits early on. The Astros just have 4 remaining. We're in the 4th. 1-0 the count. Ryan Dozier, the batter, has grounded out on a great play by Altuve and also struck out. There's that good riding two-seamer for a strike on the outside corner. It's 1-1. Saw that pitch become a big weapon for him this spring. Was starting it at the front hip of left-handed hitters and breaking over for a strike. There goes the runner. He stops though, and ground ball. Diving attempt by Bregman, but it's going to find its way into the outfield. Heading to third is Adrianza on a ground ball single by Dozier. It's now 2-1 Twins.
These are just some perfectly located ground balls. It's interesting because you see Alex Bregman. Sometimes you have that shift where everybody's pulled to that left-hand side and the shortstop is closer to the third baseman than he might realize. And Alex Bregman laying out. I'm not sure if you saw it in that last replay, but watch Carlos Correa in the background. On our Matches from Exmo, Carlos Correa is getting in position directly in front of that baseball. Not sure what the opportunity would have been at second base with Adrianza running, but would have been a much easier play for Carlos Correa playing behind Alex Bregman in that shift situation.
It's a breaking ball for a strike. It's 0-1. Well, it is frustrating for Lance in that a couple of softly hit ground balls have found their way into the outfield. He didn't help himself either by walking the first 2 batters of this inning.
Yeah, self-induced harm with that traffic by walking guys.
Bounces in there 1-1.
Apparently the approach to Joe Mauer as opposed to everybody else is throw a couple of changeups in there. Another one.
Just loading up on the changeups. Trying to get a ground ball from Mauer and get out of this inning. Lance's pitch total is really jumping up there. He is approaching 80 in this game. Just 1 out in the 4th. Lance has thrown 91 pitches in each of his first 2 starts. 3-1. Two walks this inning, 5 in the game to go along with 6 strikeouts. That matches the career high for Lance McCullers. Walk number 6. Walked 6 Orioles in a game at Minute Maid Park on May 26th of 2016. And now he has walked his 6th Minnesota Twin today. And that'll draw a visit from Brent Strom. No action yet in the Astros bullpen. This will be the 3rd mound visit of the game. Strom will be joined by Max Stassi out there.
It's always pretty animated conversations. And knowing how Lance feels about a lot of the analytics and diving into those numbers, I'm sure he's welcoming anything Brent Strom can bring to the table right now in order to help him get back on the plate, keep runners off the base paths, and get him out of this inning.
Be on the lookout for all the exciting promotions coming to Minute Maid Park in April. That includes Friday night fireworks, Dollar Dog Tuesdays, and baseball on tap. For more info, visit astros.com/promotions today. Eddie Rosario will bat with the bases loaded and 1 out. Lance has thrown 81 pitches, only 37 of them for strikes. The 2 hits this inning by the Twins. Adrianza's single in between Davis and Altuve off the bat at 89.6 miles an hour. Brian Dozier's single off the glove of Alex Bregman, 77.4 miles an hour. But the walks have hurt Lance. He's now ahead of the count 1-2. Lance walked a total of 4 in his first 2 starts combined and struck out 17. Rosario thought about it but laid off that pitch outside. It's 2-2. Ball's ripped to right field, and that's going to be down and all the way to the wall. 1 run scores. Dozier scores. Mauer being sent home. He'll score. To third goes Rosario, and he clears the bases with a triple. It's now a 5-1 Twins lead.
Two strikes. It's not too often you see Lance hang that breaking ball, especially in 2-strike counts. That is a wipeout pitch for him that usually results in a swing and a miss. Overspun that one. It fluttered up out over the outside corner. Plenty of time for Rosario to see it, wait back, keep the hands back, and punch it into that right center field gap.
Now Logan Morrison bats with a shift in the infield in. Takes a pitch outside, ball 1.
3 defenders on the right side against the pull-happy Logan Morrison.
Morrison lined out his first time up to J.D. Davis at 110 miles an hour off the bat.
Now he's playing about 15, 20 feet closer.
Morrison also walked his second time up. Rosario on third base after the triple. Driving in 3. McCullers ahead 1-2. James Hoyt just activated yesterday with Tony Sipp going on the DL, beginning to loosen up for the Astros. Chris Davinsky has also grabbed a baseball, but he has not yet begun to throw. Foul ball out of play, stays 1-2. Now Devo's going to start loosening up. Dry, that'll fall for a hit. Morrison with an RBI single. And the Twins lead is now 6-1. Strom calling down to see if Hoyt is ready. Eduardo Escobar will be the 9th batter of this inning. Three mound visits already. In the past, if you needed to stall for some time, you could ask your catcher to go out, talk to the pitcher, but Astros will stay with Lance here to face Eduardo Escobar. Popped up, long run Bregman. He was in the shift. He also has Derek Fisher out there. Fisher takes charge and makes the catch. Second out of the inning.
Yeah, we need to let Derek Fisher know that. He was taking that ball into the dugout. Long way for him to go. Alex Bregman grateful to have Derek Fisher there, who thought he was just going to carry that one into the dugout. But instead, we're going to extend this inning a little bit. There's ways to stall without having mound visits. Something in my eye. I got to tie my shoe. Something's wrong with my glove. I got to hold on. I got to tie another knot in my glove. There's plenty of ways to get away with it. Don't have to go to the mound either. Just yell at the ump. Say, hey, give me a moment. Got to be creative, TK.
Talking about the other players on the field, because the pitcher's not going to want to stall.
Oh no! If I'm at third base and I see somebody scuffling, I'm timeout. Hold on, my shoe. Wait, oh, my other shoe. Tie those things up. Be real deliberate about it.
Called strike. It's 1-1. Well, AJ hoping to get Lance through this inning. It has been a tough inning now, facing his 10th batter. He has walked 3 this inning. He's allowed 4 hits. And he's given up a 6 spot. That one's outside. It's 2-1. Lance started the inning with 59 pitches. He's now at 94. He has thrown 35 this inning. That is a high, deep drive to right field, and this ball is well gone. On the walkway beyond the right field wall, Max Kepler, who started the inning with a walk, has hit a 2-run home run. It's now 8-1, and that'll be the end of the day for Lance McCullers Jr. Tough afternoon in Minneapolis for Lance. He will leave in the 4th inning with 2 outs, 8 runs in. James Hoyt will be the new pitcher when we come back.
Hero running with a bowl. Which game 3? Could be several. Pitching change in this ball game for the Houston Astros. Coming in for Lance McCullers, who got roughed up for 8 runs, is James Hoyt.
Hoyt, the 31-year-old, just activated yesterday when Tony Sipp went on the DL. Pitched 1 game for AAA Fresno. 43 games appeared last year for the Astros. In those 49 1/3 innings, he struck out 66. A lot of them came early on in the season. One of 12 AL relievers to have a strikeout per 9 of 12 or better. And he'll face Byron Buxton, the first batter he'll see in the 2018 season. And Hoyt quickly ahead 0-2. Lance gives up a career high 8 runs. Most earned runs he had ever allowed prior to today was 6. Today he allows all 8 in 1 inning.
Just to compound the fact and give you an idea of how numbers can fluctuate early in the year. Came into that game, Lance McCullers did, came into this game, 3.48 ERA. Walked out with the 7.71.
That'll be tough to bring that number down for a little while. That'll be a big number that hangs with him for the next few starts, unfortunately. It's 1-2 to count to Buxton. Buxton walked. Lance started that inning, or this inning, the 4th, with 8 pitches outside of the zone, back-to-back walks. So they both came around to score. Away, it's 2-2. Hoyt had an oblique injury. Same injury Tony Sipp has that kept him on the DL at the beginning of the year. Grounder into the shift. Correa takes charge, has to hurry with Buxton flying down the line. It does a good job to retire the opposing center fielder. The Twins put up 8. They lead 8-1 after 4. Springer on the final day of May launched the ball at target field.
That's putting it mildly. May not have landed yet. He can go out and hit some just prodigious home runs. Is that a 100%er? As far as hit probability with 100, almost 112 and a 27-degree launch angle, that's borderline perfect.
I like the explosion on the tracks as the ball was landing. Takes a call, strike, 0-1.
This is not unfamiliar territory in this ballpark for the Houston Astros.
It was 8-2.
Yep.
And they scored 14 unanswered.
In the 8th inning on?
Yeah.
7th inning on?
With 6
inning.
outs to work with, 8th inning on. Today they have 15 outs to work with. That's the good news, but they're down 7.
So you're saying there's a chance.
There is a little bit of history. You'd like to see them get it started here with the top of the order due up. It's Springer, Alex Bregman, Jose Altuve. George down to the count 0-2. A couple of walks today for Springer. Not like Gibson has been pinpoint with his accuracy today either. He's walked 4. Only Justin Verlander of the starters in this series was able to consistently find the strike zone. Lance Lynn walked 4. Keuchel walked 4. Odorizzi walked 5. Gibson picks up a strikeout. Gibson's walked 4. McCullers has walked 6.
Third baseman Alex Bregman.
I'll bring up Alex Bregman. Justin walked 1.
Justin's a strike throwing fool. He's talked about it in the past. Even with 2 strikes, he's not trying to get guys to chase. He's trying to get punch guys out. He's trying to force them to swing the bat. It's also a luxury when you've got 4+ pitches too.
The only starting pitcher in this series able to keep the strike zone in order. Bregman 1 for 2 today. All of a sudden, Kyle Gibson seems to have locked in the zone, although Alex thought that one was off. And it's 0-2. Alex had 2 strikes called on him last at bat that looked like they were outside. One and 2 the count. Astros with a day off tomorrow, so having to use their bullpen extensively today shouldn't hurt them too much. Colors going 3 2/3 innings this afternoon.
That's happened before, but not to Lance McCullers. Last time the Astros gave up 8 runs from a starter, it was Mike Fiers on September 13th in Anaheim, and it was a similar line. 8 runs, 3 2/3 innings.
All the walks in the 4th came around to score. Walked 3 of his 6 in that inning. Saw Fiers threw a nice game the other day for the Tigers. We have a couple of former Astros in that rotation in Detroit. Mike Fiers and Francisco Liriano. Two and 2 the count. Bases cleared. Astros down 8-1 in the 5th. Now the count's full. Gibson walked as many as 5 once in his start last year. He has walked 4 times in his career. That's the most he's ever issued in free passes. Bregman delivers a high fly ball, well hit to center. Buxton looking up, and this ball is off the top of the wall. Bregman around second. He's going to hold up with a 1-out double.
Attaboy, Alex. Pitch up and away. He went with it, barreled it up, shot it out there, up off that right field scoreboard. That is driving through the baseball. That was nice to see.
Only about 5 feet away from Alex's first home run of the season.
102.3 off the bat, 30-degree launch angle. Yeah, he picked a bad part of the ballpark to go to on that one. Just that elevated wall out there that has the out-of-town scoreboard on it.
Puts a runner in scoring position, though, for Jose Altuve. Altuve rips one into left field. Astros getting one back. Bregman will come around to score. Altuve with the RBI single. Now we're at that familiar score of 8-2.
It'd be good to see the Astros offense not wait and just go out there and start racking up as many hits as they possibly can. Hopefully trying to pick up for Lance McCullers, lit a fire into these guys. Hanging fastball to Alex Bregman, and then a hanging breaking ball to Jose Altuve, and he rakes it down that left field line. That was getting the head out. 101.6 miles an hour, so back-to-back 100+ mile an hour exit velos.
And the mask is back on. I hope he can breathe.
That's his invisible cloak on the base paths.
Pitches away for a ball. It's 1-0.
Recognizes curveball, foot down, hands wait, and then just release the barrel through the zone. That was a nice direct path to that baseball.
Carlos Correa takes a called strike. Correa with a sacrifice fly and a single. Has that batting average back up above 300. Inside 2-1. You often hear the term hanging breaking ball. I've heard you use hanging fastball a couple times. What do you see?
That's a good fastball to hit. You're sitting heater, it's up out over the fat part of the plate, elevated, and you just see it good, and you want to get the barrel to it as fast as you possibly can. It's not one of those fastballs or two-seam fastballs that's painting an edge or hitting a corner. It's something where the whole baseball's on top of the plate about mid-thigh or up that you just absolutely waffle.
See if Carlos can get one here in a 3-1 count.
He gets the same pitch that Alex Bregman got, he might be talking a little trash because he's going to put it in the seats.
Twins getting the bullpen going in this 8-2 game in the 5th inning. Correa base hit to right field. Altuve thinking about third, but he'll hold up at second. And the Astros with 3 consecutive hits. Bregman a double, Altuve single, now Correa single, and here they come down 8-2.
That pitch just a little bit lower. It was on the plate, but not elevated enough. And Carlos Correa, you got to take hits when they're given to you. And that hole is open on the right side. They're holding on Jose Altuve. It's actually a pretty good located pitch, but another pitch actually off the plate that Carlos just kind of reaches out, pokes the other way to keep this inning going.
They had the second baseman Dozier shifted way up the middle. Correa had the entire right side of the infield open to him. And here's Josh Reddick. Reddick takes one inside for ball 1. People in the Twins dugout starting to have flashbacks. They were comfortably in front on Memorial Day last year, 8-2. The
amazing part of what I remember about that Memorial Day game is just the relentlessness of the Houston Astros hitters to give in their at-bats, and nobody wanted to give away their at-bat. They hit the mistakes, they took the balls. I'd like to see that same thing occur here and maybe get April going here. Still amazing we're complaining about the offense, and they're 9-3 on the season.
Right, yeah. It's been a rough start. They're playing 750 baseball.
We are a little spoiled.
Josh has a count right here where he can try and lock and load. 2-0. 2 runners on, 1 out. Little flare down the left field line. This ball is just foul. Would have scored a run had it stayed fair. Instead it's 2-1.
That was a good pitch to do it on too that you were talking about. Fastball, middle down, just got a little too deep on him, but he almost managed to keep that fair and keep this inning going. There was nobody over there to make a play on that.
Twins have 3 on the right side of the infield against Reddick.
Hey Josh, how about a double play?
Josh grounds one to the right side, diving stop, and now the ball's loose. Dozier couldn't find it. The bases are loaded.
Designated hitter, Evan Gaddis.
That'll be a hit for Reddick. 4 consecutive hits for the Astros. Out of the dugout comes the manager, Paul Molitor. And Kyle Gibson, who started this inning with an 8-1 lead, will not get through the 5th as Molitor will make the pitching change. We'll have more from Target Field in Minnesota. Astros battling back, down 8-2 with the bases loaded.
Commemorative brick program. Enjoy new brick sizes, placement down, champions walkway, and the option to include the Astros World Championship logo with a personal message on it. Visit astros.com/bricks for more info.
New pitcher for the Twins, Trevor Hildenberger, 27-year-old right-hander. Side armor. You will see him throw more sliders than fastballs against the right-hand hitters like Evan Gaddis. He'll mix in an occasional change to a righty. Against the lefty, it's all fastball and changeups. Appearing in his 6th game for Paul Molitor this season, and he comes into a big spot. 8-2 game, bases loaded, and 1 out. Facing Evan Gaddis. Gaddis has flied to right and flied to left. And a little flare down the right field line. That's a base hit. Altuve scores. Correa scores. Reddick to third. It's now an 8-4 game with a 2 RBI single by Evan Gaddis.
Not going to blow your doors off with the exit velo on that one, but a beautiful piece of hitting down the right field line. Inside outing that one big time.
It was funny watching Evan on the on-deck circle. He was almost practicing this little opposite field swing.
Almost looked like he could have gone up there with a one-hand bat. He only used about a third of the stick up there, but it pays off with a couple of RBIs.
Now Max Stassi, the batter, takes a pitch for a ball.
Right off the label. It's a good look at it on our Mattress Firm Supermo.
Those last 2 runs charged to the starter Kyle Gibson. Now Stassi grounds one foul. It's 1-1. Hildenberger's not going to be overpowering. 88 with a fastball, 77 with the slider and change. Guy from Mountain View, California.
Golden Bear.
I was going to say, went to college. Cal Berkeley, just like my broadcast partner. 1-1 the count on Stassi. Max struck out twice against Kyle Gibson. Good look there on a pitch down low. It's 2-1. Astros gave up 8 in the bottom half of the 4th inning, and they have bounced back with 3 of their own in the top of the 5th. Ground ball towards third. It bounces off Escobar. Everybody's safe. 8-5 game.
Is this happening?
Yes. Is it Memorial Day?
The weather wouldn't say so, but the offense is saying it is.
That looked like it could have been at least 1, if not 2 outs on the ground ball.
Yeah, just a colossal chopper to third base, but it looked like it hit off the lip of the grass and jumped up, and that left peg of Escobar just wore that one. Man, that super mo when you slow things down on errors makes it look so much worse.
And it doesn't look comfortable either when it hits off your thumb. J.D. Davis takes a pitch on the corner for a strike. It's 0-1. That will be ruled a hit as well for Stassi. That is 6 consecutive base hits for the Astros. J.D. Davis has been on base twice, 1 for 1 with a walk. Broken bat pop-up. And this will be Buxton and Rosario takes it away from the center fielder at the last second.
It's like deja vu all over again.
That was a near collision, both guys going full speed.
And last time in that Memorial Day game, that's when Rosario took out Buxton. Almost happened right here on this broken bat drop shot by J.D. Davis. Buxton. And that's the frightening thing, is Buxton is fast enough literally to cover enough area on this field where you could basically put your corner outfielders on the line. That speed almost caused some serious damage between Rosario and Buxton.
Buxton was absolutely flying and amazingly avoided a collision with Rosario. 9th batter of the inning is Derek Fisher. Fisher is the tying run at the plate, facing a side-arming righty. Swing and a miss, 0-1. Fisher has walked and grounded out. Fisher faced Hildenberger in Monday's game and grounded out to first base. That comeback was capped off by a Carlos Beltran home run into those seats in right field, those white seats just above the right field wall. Fisher could do that. We're tied up. 2-1. Exactly where the Carlos Beltran home run landed.
That would be awesome right now.
Astros scoring 3 runs in the first 18 innings of this series. They got more than that in this inning alone. Down 8-5. Up the middle. The shortstop is there though, and makes the play for the final out of the inning. Ray Adrianza throws out Fisher, but the Astros score 4, down 8-5.
by GMC. George Springer out there in center field, very good in my eyes. I gave him that red because he's exceptional. So is Josh Reddick, and the metrics bear that out. Derek Fisher, he's a good outfielder, good speed, gets to the baseball pretty good. I still think that they're going to go out there and test young Derek Fisher's arm.
Jason Castro leading off the 5th inning, facing James Hoyt. Hoyt picked up the final out of the 4th inning by getting Byron Buxton to ground out. It'll be Castro, Adrianza, and Dozier. Astros back in this game after a 4-run top half of the 5th inning. It's now 8-5. Bregman bare hands and can't make the play. Castro bouncing one that worked out against the shift for an infield hit.
There was extreme emphasis on Jason Castro's part to hit against the shift. Paid off.
I'll bring up A-Ray Adrianza. He singled home the first run for the Twins in their 8-run 4th. Pitch misses, ball 1. More action in the Astros bullpen. Mentioned earlier, AJ can use that bullpen as much as he wants today with the off day tomorrow. Probably won't see Colin McHugh, who threw 2 innings in last night's game, but everybody else is available as Chris Stavinsky warms up for the 2nd straight inning. Strike called, 2-1. Three and 1 to count. Walks have been an issue today. Lance McCullers Jr. walking 6 in his 3 2/3 innings. There's a strike, 3-2. Hoyt last year back and forth with AAA Fresno 3 different times. This year appearing in 1 game with Fresno, coming off the DL, appearing with the Astros for the first time this year. 3-2 pitch just missed the corner. Stassi held it there for an extra beat, but it's walk number 7 allowed by the Astros, and the first 2 on to the 5th inning. And with the top of the order due up, AJ Hinch going to the bullpen. He will call on Chris Stavinsky. Devo will be on the mound in this 8-5 game when we come back.
TX on Twitter to show us, and you could win a VIP experience. North Texas, April is your chance to show your spirit, so tweet now and win big. TK.
All right, Julia, Astros bring in their third pitcher of the game. Lance McCullers starting James Hoyt, and now Chris Davinsky taking over with 2 runners on and nobody out.
Devo pitched the other day, inning and a third, got the hold, his second one of the year, throwing 14 pitches. It was clean all the way around, no punch outs, no walks, no runs. 176 opponent batting average. Fastball and changeup have looked really good early on for Chris Davinsky.
He can be so good against left-hand hitters. Bauer and Rosario are due up after Dozier. And Logan Morrison as well, so they'll have 3 consecutive lefties after Dozier. So Davinsky facing Brian Dozier here in this 8-5 game. James Hoyt allowing an infield single and a walk. Davinsky starts out Dozier with a strike. It's 0-1. One and 1 the count. Davinsky last year an all-star with the Astros. Ended up winning 8 games out of the bullpen. Devo ended up the year with exactly 100 strikeouts after striking out 104 the year before. 2-1. Twins in the midst of a 10-game homestand. They'll host the White Sox for 4 beginning tomorrow. Astros happy to get back to the comforts of Minute Maid Park for the weekend.
Yeah, we better get out of here soon. Apparently there's a snowstorm coming.
What?
Yeah.
When?
After we leave, I think the next couple days.
2-1 pitch cued in front of the plate. That's a fair ball. Stassi makes the play to first. Dozier never took the bat out of his hand. That ball just barely stayed fair, and there's 1 away.
Designated hitter.
Curveball off the end of the bat. Gently massaged into the playing field right there by Dozier. Turns into an out. That's some bad luck right there. They've got 4 hits today of a hit probability under 15%. Almost tried to sneak one in there right there, but Maxwell Stassi was on the call.
I would think Castro's applied that last infield hit.
Yep, Buxton's down the line was one of them.
Here's Maurer. Maurer takes a pitch outside. Astros bringing the infield in tight in this 3-run game. They came back from 8-1 to score 4. Now want to keep that lead at 3 runs if possible. Change up in there for a strike. Devo last year facing left-hand hitters held them to a 111 mark, 16 for 144. Ahead of Maurer, 1-2. MLB started tracking the splits. The year was 1974. In that time, all the way through last season, only Jonathan Papelbon in 2007 had a better batting average against left-hand hitters than Devo's season last year. Swing and a miss. Joe Mauer goes down. Big strikeout for Davinsky, keeping runners on second and third, now with 2 outs.
Pretty good movement. Slider, 81 miles an hour. That's not something that might jump out on the scouting report when you're facing a guy like Chris Davinsky, especially if you're a left-handed hitter. A lot of changeups.
Good to see him breaking out that good slider against a guy hitting 400 coming into the game. Here's Eddie Rosario. Looks at a changeup for a strike.
Lowest hit probability resulting in a hit today. Buxton, 8% hit probability. Castro, Dozier, and Adrianza. It's called bad luck. Or better placement.
And 4 of the 5 lowest hit probabilities that ended up in a hit in the big leagues today. Freddie Freeman in a game at DC against the Nationals has one in that range, but the other 4 came all in this game and all for the same team. 1-1 the count. Rosario facing Davinsky, and he pops it out of play.
On the other end, Evan Gaddis's base hit that dropped, that explosion off his hands that landed for a hit down the right field line, hit probability of 96%.
Those little bloops will get you every time.
They love them.
Devo can try and get through this inning in a 1-2 count. Doesn't get a chase there from Rosario. It's 2-2. Davinsky faced Rosario in the game here on Monday night. Able to get him to ground into a double play on 1 pitch. Came in a big situation. Bases loaded, 1 out. Got through that inning, and the Astros would win that game 2-0. Swing and a miss. Davinsky at 95 miles an hour gets a strikeout with the slider and the fastball. Who needs a circle of death today? Davinsky keeps this game 8-5. Rooms to go, where you'll save even more if you buy the whole room, and delivery is fast and easy. Astros fans at Target Field in Minnesota, hoping for another inning like the 5th. The Astros had George Springer lead things off, and they would send 9 men to the plate and score 4 runs to get back in the game. It's now 8-5, and Springer will lead off the 6th inning. He'll face Trevor Hildenberger on for his first full inning of work. Hildenberger came on and gave up a couple of hits. inherited runs scored and made the game 8-5, but then he got the last 2 outs of the inning, getting J.D. Davis and Derek Fisher. George has been on base twice, a couple of walks, a run scored. He also struck out. On the ground to third, Escobar is there. And his throw in time. Springer retired for the first out of the 6th inning. Usually that's not how a rally starts, but that's how the 5th inning started. Springer made it out.
Do it again.
Alex Bregman got things going. He was the first of 6 consecutive hitters with a base hit when he doubled high off the right center field wall. Drops in that slider for a strike to Alex. It's 0-1. Another delivery for a strike. Hildenberger jumped into the picture for the Twins last year, appeared in 37 games. Became one of their key setup guys, and then this year his first spring training with the team and made his first opening day roster. Bregman deep to left field. That sends Rosario back, looking up. Alex Bregman has hit an April home run, first of his career. And it's now a 2-run game. It's 8-6 as Bregman sends one into the Astros bullpen.
That is going to make Alex Bregman extremely happy. Good swing. Things starting to come around for the young man. It's been a struggle early on, but right here gets a sinking fastball. Might have been a changeup. I'm not even sure. It's 75 miles an hour. Whatever it did, it settled in on the barrel of Alex Bregman, and he launched it out to left field.
He only throws that changeup 5% of the time to right-handers. Maybe that's why. Because that looked like a changeup that Alex took out over the wall.
I couldn't tell if Hildenberger got underneath it and tried to spin it across the plate, but whatever it was, it just backed up. And then it got smoked. It came in at 74.6 miles an hour. It left at 102.2.
He hit the ball really hard his previous time. Here's a ground ball towards the middle. Adrianza has to hustle with Altuve running out at first base. Alex Cintron, the first base coach, says, hold on. My guy may have beaten that throw. It was in the dirt. Logan Morrison made a nice pick. But Altuve, who has a 17-game hitting streak here at Target Field, they want to look at it now. They're going to bring him back. Adrianza makes a good play for out number 2.
Made an outstanding play initially. To the naked eye, I thought he beat it out. Altuve always hustling. Our matches for him, Supermo. Good pick by Logan Morrison, you're right. Now, if Altuve gets to the front of the bag, it might be a little bit of a different story, but he hit it right on top. It's amazing how it comes down to just fractions of seconds.
And that's one, too. If Altuve was ruled safe, you're not sure if there's enough to overturn it because that ball has to get to the back of the glove.
Yep.
1-0 pitch is fouled away to Correa. It's 1-1. Alex Bregman making this a 2-run game. The Astros last year scored 28 of their 40 runs in that series against the Twins bullpen. Alex down to a knee after that foul ball. It's 1-2. I can't imagine that in the Astros dugout that game hasn't been talked about. And I can't imagine anybody in the Twins dugout even uttering anything about that game.
The only one that doesn't want to revisit that game is the manager, A.J. Hinch.
Strike. We'll tell you why when we come back as Correa strikes out. We're midway through the 6th in an 8-6 game.
Blues at the bottom. Wait for it. Brad Peacock. He was acquired in the trade coming over from Oakland with Max Stassi in 2013. 3 2/3 innings pitched in a save in World Series Game 3 and 1.35 relief ERA since last season.
Peacock picked up his first regular season save on Sunday, wrapping up a 5-1 homestand. Astros trying to win this series. They'll have to come from behind. They were down 8-1 at one point. It's now 8-6. And Will Harris will try and keep it right there.
Will Harris looking good out of that bullpen. Saw him back against San Diego. It was a good riding fastball, a little bit of cut to it. And that hammer on the season, a 1.93 ERA.
Really good inning of work for Chris Davinsky. Came on with runners on first and second, nobody out. That turned into second and third and 1 out. And Davinsky picked up back-to-back strikeouts. Not sure how many times last year he had back-to-back strikeouts without getting one of them or both of them with the changeup. But a slider to get Joe Mauer and a fastball to get Eddie Rosario. Astros adding a run last inning on an Alex Bregman home run, and now Harris on in the bottom half of the 6th inning. Check swing as a foul at the plate, and Morrison down to the count 0-2. Last half inning, he brought up the fact that everybody enjoyed that Memorial Day comeback, down 8-2, winning 16-8, with the exception of the manager, A.J. Hinch.
Yeah, he was a little under the weather. He was doing laps in between his office, part of his office at least, and the dugout.
Ground ball, 2 out. Tuve in the shift from shallow right, makes the play on Morrison. And he's the first out of the 6th inning.
And I just thought it was great. During the first game of the series, we talked about that Memorial Day game, and media scrum kind of starts filtering out, and TK says, "Isn't this when you got sick?" And he was not happy with you bringing up that not so fond memory.
We were talking about the cold weather and how, he could sneak back in the clubhouse into his office during the game. And I said, didn't you spend more time in this visiting clubhouse office than any other? That brought up the memory.
Yeah, that set him off.
Well, if he really was a trooper, he'd recreate it today for us. Try to bring them back.
They were wishing ill on people now.
just maybe do a quick lap through
for the team.
Just a quick lap through the office and come back. There's a called strike. Baseball is a game of superstitions. And this game was 8-1. Last year when they came back, it was 8-2. You never know. Plenty of time to go. Here's a fly ball into shallow left. Derek Fisher was angled over in the shift that way. Makes it an easy play for him. 2 outs for Will Harris in the 6th inning. Now bring up Max Kepler. Kepler concluded that 8-run outburst by the Twins with a 2-run home run. That was the last batter Lance McCullers Jr. would face. McCullers allowing a career high 8 runs today in 3 2/3 innings. Kepler taking a strike from Will. It's 0-1. Part of a key in any comeback, but especially when you're down so many runs, is keeping your team feeling like they're still in the game. So the bullpen guys have to keep that number at 8 if at all possible.
Has a lot to do with it. They've got the bullpen firepower to do it. They're pretty well rested this early in the season.
Kepler does not chase.
Earliest exit by an Astros starter this season. Lance McCullers coming out after 3 2/3.
Twins have bullpen action going right now. 1-2 pitch misses the corner. It's 2-2. Zach Duke, we saw him in last night's game. Swing and a miss. Curveball gets Max Kepler. Will Harris a 1-2-3 inning. Ground ball, fly ball, and strikeout. We head to the 7th. It's a 2-run game. 8-6. It was 8-1. Astros putting up a 4 spot in the 5th, one more in the 6th inning. And Houston will now face a new pitcher. Second man out of the bullpen today for the Twins. It's the left-hander, Zach Duke.
Crafty veteran, pitched an inning and got a hold in this situation on the 10th against the Astros. Bunch of zeros going across the way in that inning. Doesn't throw very hard. Kind of recreated himself when he started to drop down a little bit in that 3-corner arm slot, maybe even a little bit lower on some of the sliders. 88 miles an hour, changeup, curveball, and a slider.
Like Hildenberger appearing in the 6th game for the Twins this year. Last night he faced Altuve, Correa, Gaddis as a pinch hitter, and Marwin Gonzalez. First batter he faces today is the left-hand hitting Josh Reddick, taking a pitch up and in for ball 1. Duke, prior to last night, had issued a lot of walks and also picked up a lot of strikeouts. He did not strike out a batter yesterday, but on the season, 7 strikeouts and 4 walks in 3 2/3 innings. He's behind Reddick, 2-0. Josh taps one foul. Fastball, slider, curveball to lefties, who had up that changeup as his primary second pitch to righties. Josh watches it slide outside, 3-1. Astros just need to get one man on to bring the tying run to the plate in this 8-6 game. Ball seems to be carrying a little bit better today than it did either of the previous night games.
Helps a little bit when you're not afraid of contact too. Sun's out, maybe a little bit warmer. Guys being a little more aggressive, taking advantage of some mistakes.
Ball 4. That is not what the Twins were looking for to lead off the 7th inning. Astros are happy that Reddick, lefty on lefty, takes a free pass, and now Evan Gaddis represents the tying run. Gaddis walked in his appearance yesterday against Zach Duke. Today he's 1 for 3 with an opposite field base hit and a couple of RBIs. Strike called. Astros still have 9 outs to work with, down 2. Gaddis pulls through it. Down to the count, 0-2.
Surprised the entire stadium hasn't shifted over into that sun field on the left-hand side. Some people holding their ground in the shade in their seats.
Built tough up here. 0-2 pitch in the dirt. Big sports day today in Minnesota. They've got the day game today. Twins and Astros are right across the street. It is basically an elimination game into who gets into the playoffs. Denver Nuggets at the Minnesota Timberwolves. Winner goes into the postseason. The loser goes home. Could be the opponent for the Houston Rockets in round 1 of the NBA playoffs. 1-2 the count to Gaddis. Called third strike, outside corner. Duke breaks it over for the first out of the inning.
Zach Duke got rewarded for throwing a pitch around the plate.
big looping fastball that never comes back.
I believe you're right. Well, 3 guys are due up, the next 3 who did not make an opening day roster before this year, so they did not get to experience last year's Memorial Day miracle. Down 8-2, coming back to win 16-8, so now they can create their own memory. Speaking of Stassi, Davis, and Fisher, Astros were down 8-1 in this game. Stassi with an infield hit his last time up, drove in a run. In the dirt, 1-1.
Just takes one, especially with a runner on. One swing away from tying this thing up.
On the corner, 1-2. Duke, a Texan, went to Midway High School, Waco, Texas. Hits Stassi with a breaking ball. Ahead of the count, 1-2. He threw a breaking ball in on Stassi and it hit him. Now the Astros with runners on first and second, the tying run in the form of Max Stassi.
First baseman J.D. Davis.
Youch. Top of that ankle. But hey, with 2 strikes, doesn't hurt that bad. Cold weather might not help you. Good look at it. Wow, Schinberger. A little extra mustard on that one.
So here's J.D. Davis. Davis's at-bats in this series have been by far the best of the season. He has been on base twice today. Swings at the first pitch and fouls one away.
I like it. Get aggressive. You get something you like early in the count with guys on base and a chance to drive in some runs. Let it fly.
JD last year hitting 4 home runs. Still looking for his first of the season. On second is Reddick. He walked. On first is Stassi. He was hit by a pitch.
Nothing better than getting smoked in the shin on a getaway game. Just take that bruise onto a flight, have it swell up nicely.
Davis fouls it away. It's 0-2.
Be lugging that thing around like an ankle weight for a good 3-4 days.
Astros with more runners on base. They have drawn 5 walks. They have 10 hits. And Duke just hit Max Stassi. 16 different base runners in this game. Almost hits J.D. Davis ahead of the count there. It's now 1-2. J.D. started the season 1 for 16. But he is 4 for 7 with a walk since then. A couple of walks. A little low, 2-2. No chase from Davis. An 0-2 count is now a 3-2 count. And he has seen a lot of pitches from this left-hander, Zach Duke.
Taking a couple of good passes at a couple of them. And also laid off some tough pitches too.
Alex Bregman hit his first home run of the season in the last inning to get the Astros within 2. JD gets his first of the year. The Astros will take a lead. Runners on the move and a foul ball. Well, at least Reddick was. Stassi was kind of stopping after he started.
I think you got a better read than Max Stassi did. I was anticipating Josh Reddick going. Like you said, you got to take into account the situation. J.D. Davis is swinging the bat good in this series. It's a left-on-right matchup. Reddick can run a little bit, but I think the purpose might be just to move Max Stassi and get him in motion a little bit. So if there is a ball in the gap, it increases the opportunity that he scores. We've seen Stassi take some good routes on balls in gaps.
Also decreases a chance of a double play.
Stay out of the double play is a big key too.
They're not holding Stassi. This time the runners stay, and it's ball 4. Great plate appearance by J.D. Davis, down 0-2 in the count, to end up not chasing any of those pitches from Zach Duke, and now the bases are filled. Derek Fisher is due up, but with Zach Duke, the lefty on the mound, Jake Marisnick is going to get a big pinch hit appearance here with the bases loaded.
Right-hander was loosening out in the bullpen for the Minnesota Twins. Now Paul Molitor is going to come out and counteract the pinch hit appearance after Jake Marisnick has been announced. He is the official hitter.
Marwin Gonzalez is available in the dugout. We'll see what A.J. Hinch does if he counter moves this pitching change when we come back.
Supply. DK.
All right, Julia. Well, A.J. Hinch, after a long discussion with Jake Marisnick, ends up bringing in Marwin Gonzalez to face the new pitcher for the Twins, Addison Reed.
And this is one of the additions in that Twins bullpen that Paul Molitor needed, because he's seen this act before. He saw it last season in that Memorial Day game where the Astros came back and they wanted to fortify that bullpen. Addison Reed's one of those guys. A little bit of a crossfire action as he delivers. Not much velocity, but he does a great job with movement and keeping hitters off balance. Pitched against the Astros on the 9th, went an inning. Actually gave up an earned run and had a couple of punch outs. But Marwin Gonzalez is the man on the spot right now.
Gave up an earned run when Marwin doubled off the left field wall. Facing Marwin Gonzalez here with the bases loaded. Marwin with 1 career slam. Came against the Texas Rangers last year. Astros down 2. They have the tying run on second, the go-ahead run on first. And Marwin drills one, but he just got in front of it. Home run distance, but foul.
Man, oh man. Let them know you're in the box, Marwin. Here at Target Field, they actually StatCast everything that's put on the barrel, and that was 105.8 miles an hour off the bat for that foul ball.
That does not make the home crowd feel much better.
Unless you're a big fan of loud, long strikes.
They're just happy he got it ahead of that pitch. Now he slows it up, and Marwin out in front, 0-2.
Yeah, they went in that same part of the plate, that inner third, but dropped velocity and created a little break with that slider.
Marwin pinch hitting for Jake Marisnik, who is announced as a pinch hitter for Derek Fisher. And he got him. Reed strikes out Marwin Gonzalez on 3 pitches. That's a big strikeout for the Twins, and there's 2 outs in the inning.
It's a tough AB.
Now George Springer will bat. Springer has never faced Addison Reed. In the dirt, ball 1. George has walked twice. He has struck out and grounded out. Up there for the 5th time today, and we're only in the 7th inning. Ten hits allowed by the Twins pitching staff today, 6 walks allowed, and a hit batter. Two and 0. George was right in the middle of that Memorial Day comeback, down 8-2 when the Astros won 16-8. He had to wait a little longer.
He was not happy about it either.
He was at the plate when they halted the game for a little rain delay, but the rain couldn't stop the Astros that day. Now 2-0 count. Big swing and a foul. Reed throws the slider about 30% to lefties, but less to right-hand hitters. He is mostly fastball to righties, 84%. George missed that one. It's 2-2.
I think the last 2, if he had him back, or if he was feeling a little bit better, he might have barreled him up and shot him into a gap. Some pretty good pitches elevated the zone. That was that cement mixer, kind of stopped out over the plate, but a big uppercut from George just getting under that pitch.
Three and 2.
Action. We got action.
We are going to have everybody off on the base paths. Reddick from third, Stassi from second, J.D. Davis from first. Any base hit to the outfield will tie this game. High fly ball. He just got under it. Coming on is Rosario, still coming, and he's there to make the play. Springer frustrated as he pops up to end the rally. Astros down 8-6, 7th inning stretch time here at Target Field. Let's send it to Bart Ennis in our Rooms to Go lounge as we head to the bottom of the 7th.
Thanks very much, guys. The Astros are wrapping up Game 3 of a quick road trip to Minnesota. They're going to be off tomorrow, and then the first big stretch of the season begins. Let's take a look at the upcoming schedule. The Astros start off with 3 at home against the Texas Rangers before heading out west to take on the Seattle Mariners for 4 games. Following that is a 3-game series on the south side versus the Chicago White Sox, and finally returning home for a 3-game set with the Angels, where they will get their first chance to face the Japanese Babe Ruth, Shohei Ohtani.
Chevy Stropole, thanks again for following us on Twitter at ATT Sportsnet SW. We asked when you remember seeing the Astros at the Dome, who do you envision on the mound? Nolan Ryan. He's got a great record when it comes to Stropoles. 52% of the vote today.
Yeah, he seems to be an Astro favorite, huh?
Mike Scott coming in second, 21%. Thanks again for voting. TK.
All right, Julia.
If you put which uniform you see Nolan wearing on the mound in the Astrodome, it's definitely that rainbow uniform just coming at you with about 150 miles an hour.
Just going deep into games every time.
Grunting and yelling at you.
New pitcher for the Astros. Bottom half of the 7th inning is Hector Rondon. Rondon facing Byron Buxton. Pitched in last night's game at a 1-2-3 inning.
Looked good last night too.
Yep.
Fastball slider mix in the mid to upper 90s.
1-1 the count. George Springer very frustrated at the end of that 7th inning. He felt like he just missed a couple of pitches that he wishes he had back. Ended up hitting a high fly out to left to end the inning and leave the bases loaded. Alfonso Marquez taking that last foul ball off the mask. Marwin Gonzalez stays in the game after pinch hitting. He's in left field. Called, third strike on the corner. 96. Painted up for the first strikeout.
Kind of interesting to see the approach from Rondon on Byron Buxton. Saw that first game of the series. Ken Giles came in, threw a couple of sliders and almost lost one in the left field seats, but it was Hector Rondon just coming heaters right after Byron Buxton. Maybe a little bit off the edge, but gets the call nonetheless.
Saw a couple called on Bregman out there earlier today. Here's Jason Castro. Struck out twice against Lance McCullers. Then an infield hit his last time up. Shift works nicely. Carlos Correa right there after Rondon couldn't make the play. And there's 2 outs.
Watch every out-of-market Astros game all season long live on your favorite supported devices with MLB.tv. Blackout and other restrictions apply for regular season games. Visit MLB.tv for details.
Rondon played with the Cubs, so they did their share of shifting, but when you're pitching for a new team and you have a smash base hit go by you on the mound and then you turn around and your shortstop is there, that has to feel pretty good.
Pretty good.
He was very pleased to see Correa standing right there. Now A-Ray Adrianza takes a pitch inside for a ball, 1-0. People get frustrated when they see little squibs beat the shift, but more often than not, it is taking hits away. 1-0 pitch in the air to center field. George is there. And a quick 1-2-3 inning for Hector Rondon. Astros down 2, coming to the plate in the 8th.
Light falls on Alex Bregman back in the friendly confines of Target Field. He is a triple away from a cycle. It's been a good day for him. 3 for 4 coming into this next AB. Double high off that right center field wall. Then a hanging changeup down the zone, and he pummeled it. Getting some good exit velo and launch angles. Good to see that smile back on the young man's face.
See if he can get things going here, facing Addison Reed. No bullpen action going for the Twins, so they're going to stick with Reed at least at the beginning of this inning. And right back through the middle, diving effort by Dozier, but Alex Bregman has himself a 4-hit game. First career 4-hit game for Alex Bregman, and he's a leadoff base runner as the Astros continue to try and battle back.
Congratulations, Alexander.
So he's on base, and the guy who set the record, a Major League Baseball record in the 5th inning with his 17-game hitting streak here at Target Field, is at the plate, Jose Altuve. Altuve into right field. Kepler is there. And that's the first out. Altuve now 1 for 5.
Shortstop, Carlos Correa.
I'll bring up Carlos Correa.
It's pretty amazing with Jose Altuve in the lineup. He likes to swing at that first pitch, usually has pretty good numbers on it, but as a whole, the team, the Astros, 3rd least in all of baseball. At 24% of the time, they're going after that first pitch.
Correa takes one down, 1-0. Correa singled against Addison Reed. Scored on the Marwin Gonzalez double in Monday night's game. Big swing there. It's 1-1.
I like it. Let it fly. He knows he has a chance to do something good right here with a big swing. He drives one out of the ballpark, tie this game up.
Correa, sacrifice fly, 2 base hits, a run scored. He's 2 for 3. Out of play the other way. Mentioned early in the season, you could really get your batting average to go up and down quickly. Bregman with that 4 for 5 game came in batting 186. He's now at 250.
There you go.
64-point jump.
Like it.
Correa pops it up. Dozier makes the play for out number 2. Dozier gave a quick little look there while the ball was in the air just to make sure Correa was running it out. If not, he might have let it drop. Here's Josh Reddick. Reddick's been on base the last 2 times. He is officially 1 for 3. And Reed starts him off with a strike. Addison Reed, 48 games with the Mets last year, 29 with the Red Sox. Moved over in a trade deadline deal. 1-1 the count. Taylor Rogers, lefty, warming up. Astros have only one lefty in the lineup right now. That's the guy at the plate, Josh Reddick. Out back, it's 1-2. Continuing to put pressure on this Twins pitching staff. 10 men left on base today. Reddick pops it up. Dozier puts it away. After opening hit by Alex Bregman, Reed comes back to get Altuve, Correa, and Reddick. Today's 10,000 fans in attendance will receive a George Springer World Series MVP bobblehead presented by Coca-Cola. For information and tickets, visit Astros.com or call 1-877-9-ASTROS. Springer World Series MVP bobblehead. People are going to be lined up early for that one too. We head to the bottom of the 8th. New pitcher for the Astros, Brad Peacock.
Getting another opportunity, Brad Peacock. You talked about the day off tomorrow, so A.J. Hinch, plenty of weapons down there in the bullpen. This is one of the big ones. 5 games this season, a 130 opponent batting average, and a whip well under the average of 1.
0-3 on the left side of the infield for Brian Dozier. He will bat for the 5th time and take a called strike from Peacock. It's 0-1. Dozier, Joe Mauer, Eddie Rosario, top 3 in the Twins lineup. Dozier reached base 5 times in the game last night, a single and 4 walks. Peacock struck out Dozier in the game on Monday night. No chase there. It's 2-1. Astros trying to keep it at a 2-run deficit. They've had their opportunities. They had the bases loaded in the 7th. They had a leadoff base runner in the 8th. Unable to take advantage of either of those situations. 2-1 pitch is fouled away. It's 2-2. In the 9th, it'll be the righties Evan Gattis, Max Stassi, and J.D. Davis due up. Brian McCann, the lone remaining player on the bench for A.J. Hinch. And Fernando Rodney, the closer for the Twins, is warming up. Fastball called, 3rd strike. Peacock freezes Dozier on a 93-mile-an-hour fastball. Picks up a strikeout.
2-seam run on that glove side. We've seen worse called strikes. Good pitch, good frame by Max.
McCullers struck out 6. Devo struck out 2. Will Harris and Hector Rondon 1 apiece. It's now the 11th strikeout for Astros pitching today. Here's Joe Mauer. That one misses. 1-0. Mauer has 2 strikeouts, 1 for 3 with a walk. Mauer coming in 3rd in the American League in hitting. There's a strike. It's 2-1. It's one of those pitches where Stassi brings that glove up as the pitch is being received. It makes it look really good. On the ground, J.D. Davis will flip the Peacock, and there's 2 away. Well, the bullpen has been really good today. All the runs scoring against Lance McCullers Jr. 3 2/3 innings. Bullpen thus far has gone 4 innings. James Hoyt allowed a single and a walk, but Devo, Will Harris, Hector Rondon, and now Peacock, they've retired 11 in a row. Here's Eddie Rosario.
Five of those 11 outs on strikeouts.
Rosario had the big hit in that 8-run 4th. He tripled in 3. Turned a 2-1 game into a 5-1 game. All 8 of the runs today for Minnesota scored in the 4th inning. High pop-up. Bregman drifts out. Marwin comes in. Marwin calls Bregman off. And another 1-2-3 inning. 12 in a row. Sent down by Devo, Harris, Rondon, and Peacock. We head to the 9th. bases. Astros have been down in this game since the 4th inning. It was 8-1. It's now 8-6. But they're down to their final chances, facing the closer for the Minnesota Twins, Fernando Rodney.
Veteran Fernando Rodney, tilted cap and all, goes out there and trying to finish this game off for the Minnesota Twins. He is 2 for 2 in save opportunities. ERA at 2.45. 302 career saves, is the active leader in Major League Baseball. Fastball anywhere from 93 to 96 miles an hour, changeup and a slider.
So he will face 3 right-handed hitters due up, Gaddis, Stassi, and Davis. McCann is a possibility to come off the bench if AJ so chooses. The Astros have had the tying run on base in the 7th inning, the tying run at the plate in the 8th. Now they need another base runner to bring the tying run to the plate again. That slider, kind of a new weapon for Fernando. It was in his arsenal early in his career, then went away and brought it back again this season. He was mostly fastball changeup. Now we'll see the occasional slider. Gaddis with a 2 RBI base hit. He's 1 for 4 today.
Picked up his 2nd save last night against the Astros, going an inning, giving up 1 hit, striking out 1.
Fastball in on the hands at 92. Rodney faced McCann, Davis, Marisnik, and Springer yesterday, allowing a hit to JD. There's that changeup. Throws Evan. It's 0-2. Astros had their 7-game winning streak at Target Field snapped last night. Now they're trying to avoid their first series loss of the season. On the ground, past the diving Logan Morrison into right field. Astros will bring the tying run to the plate once again. Evan Gaddis with his 2nd hit of the game.
Evan is wearing out that right field line. Little bloop shot earlier in the game. This one a little bit more of a firm ground ball, but sometimes you call 911, sometimes they answer, and they did right here.
That'll bring up Max Stassi. Stassi facing Rodney for the first time in his career. Tries to hold up on the fastball. He goes around 0-1. Stassi has reached base his last 2 plate appearances. Infield single and an RBI, and he was hit by a pitch. Fouls the fastball away at 92, and he's down to the count 0-2. Rodney has seen his velocity dip a little bit in the last couple of years. Now pitching at age 41. Still averages about 94 on the fastball. We've seen mostly 92, 93 today. Catches the corner. There's 95, so a little extra left on that one in an 0-2 count. He freezes Stassi for the first out of the inning.
Looks like it was right down the middle. Wanted to come to that inside corner, but caught a ton of the plate. Happens sometimes when you're guessing off speed and guy pumps a fastball right by you.
JD had a single against Rodney last night into right field. He's been on base 3 times today, a single and a couple of walks. Upstairs, it's 1-0. Marwin Gonzalez, who came on as a pinch hitter, stayed in the game, is on deck. There's a ball in the left center field. That's going to be down for a hit. Evan Gattis takes the turn at second. He'll have to hustle back, and he does. Astros with the tying runs on base. And one out with Marwin Gonzalez due up. J.D. Davis.
Second hit off Fernando Rodney. That was a changeup. He stayed back nicely on it, going into that left center field area of the ballpark. Not hit hard enough to get past Rosario. Evan Gattis with thoughts of going to third base. Rosario with thoughts of making an error, overshooting the throw to second base. Luckily somebody was backing up.
Marwin came up with the bases loaded and one out in the 7th inning. Addison Reed was able to get him striking out. Now facing Fernando Rodney. Marwin takes a strike. Marwin has seen Rodney 3 times in his career. He's 1 for 3. That hit was the last time they matched up. Tying run at first base. Go ahead run at the plate. Missed the changeup. It's 0-2.
Fernando Rodney's got a pretty violent delivery coming towards home plate. Makes that changeup that much more effective. Kind of threw the get me over that first pitch of the AB, and that was a nasty one to get the swing and miss down out of the zone.
Just missed the corner. It's 1-2. Gattis on second, Davis on first. Astros down 8-6. $15,438 today. All 3 crowds in this series have been right around 15,500. Castro and Rodney couldn't get together on the sign, so they're going to go out and talk about this one. Astros with 13 hits. Twins have walked 6 batters and hit a batter. So 20 base runners in this game, down 8-6. Upstairs 2-2. After getting ahead 0-2, Marwin has not chased, and now the count's full.
Talked about the woes of hitting with runners in scoring position. Not so much today. 4 for 11 in today's ball game.
Low ball 4. The bases are filled with Astros. And George Springer, who was very frustrated last time at the plate with the bases loaded, gets a little chance for redemption. Rodney was ahead 0-2 on Marwin and throws 4 out of the zone to load the bases.
Baseball can be an amazing story of redemption. George extremely frustrated in that previous at bat with the opportunity to help his ball club out. Has a chance here.
Ground ball right side. Morrison to second for 1. Rodney has to cover. Springer safe. Throw gets away. Astros tie the game. It is 8-8. On the ground ball to Morrison, they got the force out at second, and the throw got away, and the Astros have come all the way back to tie the game.
That is a gutsy move by Brian Dozier. They get a ground ball. The winning run is headed to third base, and Dozier trying to lead. The closer, Fernando Rodney, completely fails, and that ball shoots into the dugout. That tying run crosses home plate, so the Astros benefit. Wow. Wow.
And now a guy who's hit the ball 400+ feet off the right center field wall. And the last one deposited into the Astros bullpen at the plate. Alex Bregman, with a 4-hit game already, can try and give the Astros a lead. Coming back from down 8-1, they have tied it at 8.
Unbelievable.
That was an unusual try for the double play with the shift in place. Morrison was the only one on the right side of the infield. Dozier took over as the second baseman / shortstop on the turn, and then tried to lead Rodney to the bag but threw it behind him. And the Astros scored the tying run on an error. Bregman's never had a 4-hit game before today. Now, if he gets a 5-hit game, he can give the Astros the lead.
And maybe sit down next to Jose Altuve and tell him about it. I understand the desire to want to turn that double play, but that is tough with a guy like Fernando Rodney covering first base. PFPs in spring training are usually pretty aggressive for starting pitchers because they have the most opportunities on the field. They'll be out there for hopefully 5+ innings. Closers, they're not expected to go out there and try and field their position. Those guys are out there to get outs, mostly via the swing and miss.
20th pitch of the inning from Rodney. Missed the quarter. And now we have a full count. Springer representing the go-ahead run on second base. 2 outs in the 9th inning.
Do you get selective and careful with Alex Bregman and maybe choose Altuve?
Bregman into left field. Rosario drifts back. He's there and makes the play. Astros tie it up. Last run scoring on an error. We head to the bottom half of the 9th inning in an 8-8 game. Down 8-1 to tie this game at 8. Brad Peacock on for his second inning of work. Pitched to 1-2-3 8th inning. Now I'll have the 4, 5, 6 hitters due up. Logan Morrison, Eduardo Escobar, Max Kepler. Another big comeback for the Astros in this stadium.
Now not be too long until they stop inviting the Astros in.
Morrison lined out, walked, singled and scored a run, also knocked in a run, and grounded out in his last at bat. First pitch is a little bit inside, ball one. Astros playing their second extra inning game of the year. Walked off the game Saturday on the Alex Bregman pop-up against San Diego at Minute Maid Park. Twins also playing their second extra inning game of the season. One and two the count.
Three relievers left for both sides, or four on the Minnesota side. I apologize. Two lefties, two righties for the Astros in their bullpen. Still have McHugh, Joe Smith, and Ken Giles.
You would think for McHugh, who's never been a reliever before, never gone back-to-back outings, he pitched 2 innings last night, it would be only an emergency.
It would be extreme. Let's not get there.
McHugh was outstanding last night, 2 innings, striking out 5. 2-2 the count. Morrison hanging in there. Morrison, who came into the series really struggling at the plate, has had better at bats in this series. Swing and a miss. Peacock gets him. Strikeout number 2 for Brad. And that is now 13 in a row sent down by the Astros bullpen.
Not the best slider we've ever seen, but it was nice that he started it off that outside corner. It was elevated, but Logan had to wait and see if it was going to break back towards the plate. It did.
Here's Eduardo Escobar. Walked his first time up, since then 0 for 3. Takes a pitch outside, ball 1. Twins' only extra inning game came back on opening day in Baltimore. Adam Jones walked off that game with a home run in a 3-2 Orioles victory. 1-1 the count. Oh, I keep thinking it's extra innings. Feels like it.
It does. These games here in Minnesota have taken a little while to get through them.
There's a good slider, 1-2.
Let's go.
23 pitches for Peacock. That's up high and away. It's 2-2. Astros have left 12 on base today. The Twins have left 7 on. There's a ball towards the right field corner, and that is a foul ball. just hook foul off the bat of Escobar. Into the shift, 3 on the right side. Altuve plays it nicely on 1 hop, and there's 2 away. Two outs. Nobody on. Max Kepler, the batter. Fastball at 94, swing and a miss, 0-1. Kepler hit a 2-run home run in the 4th. He batted twice in that inning and scored a couple of runs. He also walked. Other innings he has grounded out and struck out. Two and 1. If this game gets to extra innings, the Astros will have Altuve, Correa, and Reddick due up. Rodney pitched the 9th, but the Twins have a lefty warming up. Looks like Rogers in the bullpen, potentially for the 10th. Great catch by a fan just down to the left of us.
Nice grab, barehanded on a cold afternoon.
Handed it off to a youngster. Two and 2 the count.
Brad staying aggressive with the fastball against Max. Will he in the 3-2 count?
Threw that slider, fouled it off the chest protector of Max Stassi.
I think Brad Peacock wanted him to make a play on it.
He could have.
It's a lot to ask.
If he would have seen it. Ball bounced up in the air.
How do you not react to a ball ricocheted off your chest? Come on.
This ball is crushed to right field. This game's over. Max Kepler ends it with a walk-off home run on a 3-2 pitch. And the Twins, after leading this game 8-1, walk it off in a 9-8 victory. Twins celebrate on the Kepler home run, his 2nd of the game, his 3rd of the season, and the Astros lose their 1st series of the year as the Twins win it by the score of 9-8. We'll have more, including the post-game show from Target Field after this.